What can be done?
I mean, you just gotta get a job where you're interviewing now, because apparently you're good at intimidating people.
I should be a recruiter.
That's the move. Okay, now I need to switch this. Would you play? Are you gonna play Tetris with us?
Tiny. Hello.
Hi.
I'm sleepy. I'm always sleepy though.
You are always sleepy.
What
What do you do? Why are you always so tired?
I don't do anything. Like, swear to God, literally nothing.
I was tired, and then I read my stuff for my philosophy class, which you think would make me more tired. But now I'm just having an existential crisis because the whole paper that I had to read was on, like, not the meaning of life, but what is existence? Like, does anything actually exist?
Yeah.
Can I prove anything is actually real? Like, the only thing that I know is, it's like, have you ever heard that saying, like, I think, therefore I am? That saying comes out of this paper. And basically, by the end of the paper, the only thing he determines is, because I think, I must somewhat exist, and the only other thing that I conclude exists is a god. And I was like, that's not helpful. But yeah, that was a really, really weird paper to read. It was good.
Yeah.
But I think I just, like, I was supposed to write a reflection on it, and I have a few more days to write it, so I'm not going to start until tomorrow, because I was like, I can't write anything on this right now. My brain's fried.
Well, your reflection is, this is giving me an
panic attack.
existential crisis.
Actually, though.
So it's doing its job, I think.
I mean, yes, but maybe a little too well, because I dislike it. So...
It's too much.
I love philosophy class, and I hate philosophy class. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. The only cool thing I did this week was watch the new Obi-Wan Show, so I'm excited. Welcome, Sem. Hi. How's it going? Yeah, I don't know. That philosophy class, I think, is like... I'm going to be, like, brain fried by the end of the class. And I'm taking a stats course again this semester, okay?
Stats. I freaking hate stats.
You know what? I'm really glad I took the stats class I did, because there was like 3 different options for stats class, and one of them was like a business stats class, one of them was like a base science stats class, and the one I took was like the actual like stats class from the statistics department. And I took that one because it was the only one I could get into at the time. But now I'm really glad I took that one because it was the hardest one. But it's the best one for like being able to do this class, because this class is like purely like research stats. And I was like, nice.
Oh, okay.
Basically, we're doing all the stuff that we did in that class, but now we're just using a software for it. So that's cool.
Nice.
Oh god, my glasses are dirty again. You know what I found the best thing to clean my stupid, dirty, constantly dirty glasses? I bought like, you know those towels that you can buy in like massive packs to like clean cars?
Yes, the microfiber ones.
I don't know, are they microfiber? I don't know. Whatever. Those are really good though, because I have like 3 different types of microfiber has to be like more than like one thing, right? Because because I have like 4 different microfiber cloths, and they all say microfiber, but they're all different. What makes something microfiber? Is it the fabric, or is it the way it's woven? It's gotta be the fabric.
That girl, if I know.
Okay. Because anyway, I have other ones. Oh, hi Sterling. I have other ones, and they just don't work. Like, they work well on glasses, but these ones are like nicest. No, I'm not going to bed. Fuck off.
Oh, I've been keeping a fan. Well, I did keep a fan brush in my car to swipe away the dirt. It's very fun to like the dirt on your dash.
Oh yeah.
And like the dust.
I have a dust buster in my, or a fucking Swiffer duster in my car. Because my mom used to have a car, so she left it in there, and I was like, I'll keep it.
But still, trust me, fan brush. I mean, you have a duster, but like the fan brush, it's a lot of fun. If you think applying highlighter is fun,
You're so funny.
Yeah.
Rams. Oh, I gotta turn them up.
Hi.
I'm so passionate about cleaning my car.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Let's start this Tetris game.
Where the rest?
I'll be right back.
God damn it.
I've been on like overdrive for the last because the first week of school I was so demotivated to do anything, and so I didn't do anything, and then I like by second week of school I'm like I'm behind. So then like this week all I've done is like schoolwork and I caught up. I was like, it is the first week, I can't be behind already. This isn't happening.
If I'm behind, I stay behind.
That's the thing is like I'm like I can't be behind yet because I'll get fucked because the semester is crazy for me. I'm done.
I'm usually
done
very
for.
good the first 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, I'm so good, so I don't have to like. I've like been on top of everything, so I'm gonna take a little break. It's fine, and then it goes downhill.
Yeah. I used to have that problem, and now it's like I'm really bad the first week. I'm better the second week, and then
That's
I kind of
good.
get a hold on it, and then I lose it, and then
then
I have to get better again.
I think the panic is really good for motivation.
It
when
really
you...
is. But I dislike the feeling of it. It's not fun. I don't enjoy that panic part. Oh, I forgot to switch my camera. Oh, okay. I can't even see if there's people commenting now. That's good.
Yeah.
I stopped streaming for a week and I forget how all of it works. No! There we go.
We watched a movie yesterday.
What'd you watch?
We watched Old.
Oh, how was that?
Terrible.
Yeah,
was
that's
a
what I thought.
movie.
So I was like, I know that movie.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. It was definitely
Yeah.
a movie.
Definitely the way you would describe it.
They had a budget. They
Probably used
filmed
it.
some stuff. Yeah. $18 million
so
of
funny.
dog shit.
It was $18 million for that movie? No shot it was $18 million.
I think
That
it's
movie was
the
like all
resort
filmed
they
on
have.
one beach. Nothing happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, 18 mil for... I guess M. Night Shyamalan is a somewhat big director.
Oh, he's a big
name.
director, but even so, 18.
So
What
getting
did you
18
spend it
mil
on?
is...
The whole thing was on a beach. I guess the
I
resort.
mean,
I don't know.
you gotta pay actors and shit. You know, it goes.
Was there
I
any?
mean,
Big,
if
I
you-
don't even think there's any big names in that
No,
movie.
there was
though.
not. No, not at all. But I mean, for like perspective, like a Marvel show is like 25 mil per episode.
Yeah, but that makes sense because you're doing so much in a Marvel show, so at least I can understand where the money's going.
Well, yes and no. I mean, Marvel show you're gonna get less of an investment. Or you're gonna get less return on your investment with it being streamed.
Yeah.
So not like a direct source of money. You're just kind of taking.
No,
you
no,
know,
I understand that, but I understand
that.
like
And
where
then-
they're
and
spending
then-
money. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so much stuff to like do in those movies that I'm like, okay, it makes sense that you're spending that much because
Yeah, but then also you're paying less for stuff on a TV set than on a movie set.
I
So
guess so.
even like your actors or whatever, right? Even like extras or whatever, you're gonna pay them more on a movie set than a TV set. So it's always it's a weird thing
Yeah.
to think about that shows are the quality of a movie, but still there's this huge gap in
How do
budgets and stuff like
I-
that. But, you
How
know,
do I
it is what it is.
turn this down?
But yeah, it's a trash ass movie. It's so bad. Which we watched it knowing it would be bad. Like I told them, like, yo, this is supposed to be a bad movie.
I feel like you should do a podcast with Will and do it on top of the Forerunners. What do you think I know about Forerunners? I'm gonna be honest.
What
I don't know
brand
what
is
the,
it?
I don't know what the fuck a Forerunner is.
What?
I don't know, man. I know the name. I know, like... I
mean-
when you say Forerunner, nothing pops into my head. Like, zero. Nothing. Zilch.
Literally,
Will can
just
teach you about
Will-
Forerunners.
That's
No,
gonna be
just
the whole
Will
podcast, is Will teaches me about cars.
hmm
That'd be fun.
Originally, when you read it, I thought he meant you should do a podcast on a Forerunner with Will.
See, that would be kind of fun. Will driving, it's like that, like, James Corden, but, like, none of us
Yeah.
are singing.
but with
We could be
much
singing.
And it would
a
actually be
much
funny.
worse one as far as sound quality goes, because all we're gonna hear is the Forerunner.
Kind of true.
Mic up then.
About just not to keep harping on old, the fucking sound mixing in this movie
Oh my god.
is so goddamn garbage.
Wait, why?
It's
It was
so
so bad.
bad for no reason. Like, I get other aspects of a movie being bad, but like sound.
How do you fuck up sound, bro? It's sound.
Literally, like, 'cause
I feel like it's like one of
Like,
those
I'm-
standardized things that you can probably do unless you're
Yeah,
doing like
you don't
crazy
need, you
shit.
don't need like anything amazing like 1917 or these war movies sound mixing
Yeah.
or whatever. But it's just like
Dude.
the dialogue is being cluttered and muted by everything else. And there's like not
Oh.
much. They're in a resort. There's not much going around.
Yeah, from
But
like
it's
what I
like-
know about the movie, because I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've like seen enough that like I'm like I feel like it shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
it is, but it is. Like, it sounds like they took the audio from the camera they were shooting on. Like,
Oh, that's not good.
At
and
times
like,
it
you know,
sounds like
Red has like surround sound, right? So like, you can hear the audio moving from one speaker to the other.
oh yeah. It's like all of a sudden you hear like a big like jump in the volume of the dialogue, but like only in like one corner of the room, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck?
Like, what is going
There's,
on?
like,
And, it's
no
like it doesn't even make
consistency.
sense to the picture. It's not. Both characters are like in the center of the screen, but somehow I'm just the dialogue to the right. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Interesting.
It's so weird. And then it's sometimes it sounds like it was a movie that was shot in a different language and they dubbed it with English, which is not what happened. But it's like so weird.
Huh.
I just don't know how this man. I don't know how he keeps getting fucking funding for these shits. If fucking The Last Airbender wasn't a shit enough movie for Hollywood to say go fuck off, like I don't know, man. It's just
So
doing
how
too
about
much
you
with
have
that
too much
mental.
notoriety, okay? Like you,
Mm-hmm.
there's a point where like it doesn't matter how bad you've done because you've just got so much like name behind you.
But it's like from what he did, what maybe like one good film.
I don't know. Maybe just because he's popped out so many.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, speaking of actual good things, Star Wars, Obi-Wan. How'd you like it?
I don't like it as much as most people, but I do really like it a lot.
Really?
I think like people are okay. From what I've seen online, people split into two camps. One is racist,
Oh.
and the other, is just straight nostalgia bombing.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like when you take the nostalgic part out of it, there is some flaws to it.
There's a few flaws. I could give it that, but I honestly thought the
overall, pretty good though.
I thought it was like a pretty good show
like,
overall,
pretty good.
especially compared to some of the other stuff that Disney's popped out. That I'm like, Boba Fett was like garbage to me.
Here's the thing. Well, see, that was what people were saying that this is like a better intro than Boba Fett. The intro of Boba Fett was not bad.
I
Boba
liked
Fett's
the
weakness is
first
that they
two
did
episodes
nothing
were
with
not
it.
bad for Boba Fett, but everything after that I think was like I fucked it.
Right. So compared to be like a fair comparison to Boba Fett.
I
Like,
mean,
it
to be
isn't
fair,
any
they were
much
playing on
better
like
from the first two episodes.
they were literally just playing on like the not that I mind because I think Order 66 will never not be like a
Oh
big
no,
thing.
that's one of the highlights for me. Is
okay.
some of the
'Cause
Order
I was gonna
66
say, I'm like the Order 66 thing was crazy.
Yeah, the Order 66.
I think that was like a
scenes
way
were-
like because people are always like, oh, they overplayed, they do it so much, and I'm like, no, but the thing is, you always get a different perspective on it. I think like every time we
But
see
this
Order
is
66,
directly
it's
after-
somebody else's vision, right? Like somebody else's view.
Well, and anything else, I would be like, okay, cool, but like this is directly after Order 66. This is like life after, because Order 66 is the last like prominent thing that happens in his life, right?
Yeah.
That happens. Anakin is quote unquote dead, and then he's like a little fucking hermit, trying to look over the two babies and shit, or at least one of the babies.
Yeah.
The other one he's gonna just like fuck it until like something happens. Which, the Leia scene of her being chased down is not it. That is not
Me
it.
and Max were kind of laughing at that just because we were like, you can't catch a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old.
It's not even that. It's like they planned out to surround her, but they didn't plan on her running.
Yeah.
It was like they were
It
surprised.
was like funny
she
because he
could
like
run.
runs into a tree branch, but it's so intentionally like he runs into a tree branch. It was just not good
Yeah,
because I can understand not catching a 10-year-old. Because I talked to my brother after, and I was like, oh, it seemed kind of unrealistic. And he's like, to be fair, my job is chasing 10-year-olds all day, so I can agree that it's actually hard to catch a 10-year-old. But like some of the scenes were
Fair
just like,
enough.
But it's not even like the chase aspect. It's the beginning part of them surrounding her, but like
That she
getting her
just
room to
dies out.
run. Yeah, it's like their whole plan was for her to run and chase. They wanted to chase her down.
yeah, it
Like,
felt like it was like a
it
setup for them
felt-
to chase her.
Yeah, it felt so weird.
Yeah,
It wasn't like
yeah,
she
yeah.
slept through one of their arms or something. It was just like, oh.
It would have been cool if like they
no,
grabbed her
no,
and she like
well,
bit him or
I'm done.
something. That would have been funny. I think like if she was
Yeah.
like just like full on like snaggle
If
tooth
he, like,
out,
'cause
that would have been
she's,
different.
like-
But like she just like
She just
dips.
ran. She was just like, I'm out of here. And it's like they could have done something like that because like they set Leia up as being a smart kid.
Yeah, she's a smart
Right?
kid and she's a bratty
She's
kid. Like she
snarky.
would
She's
bite
like
somebody.
so to be like trying to capture her and she sneaks out would be very in character for her.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I don't know what they were doing with that. Even when the scene started, I was like, I don't know where they're trying to go with this. Like,
Yeah.
are they trying to? For a second, I was like, I don't even know if he's a bad guy because they're certainly not doing a great job of being bad guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on. That was like the only scene that I had big critiques on just because it was kind of like awkwardly like choreographed.
Yeah, just like nothing of it made sense, really.
Yeah.
It was like these menacing figures that like just never thought that a kid could run. It slipped their mind that the kids can
They're
run.
like, oh yeah, she might run.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It's yeah, but besides that, I think most of it was cool. I definitely like the second episode more than the first episode. But like, that's granted because the first episode is just more of a setup.
You know what's
but-
funny? I don't know which one I liked better, but I really liked the first episode because I think it was such a good setup, like of showing like the monotonous life he had fallen into, and I thought that was kind of cool. Like they didn't gloss over it too much, and I think sometimes like we have a tendency to like skip over like intros of things because people want to get straight to the action. But I like that they actually like really honed in on that idea of like him like living this like really monotonous, like very
Yeah.
like minimal life, and I think they
Yeah,
really
which I do like, but I do feel like they could kind of add more to it. Like I do like scenes where like he was sleeping and he's having these like flashbacks, and then it's like because that shows like his relationship because like he's having flashback of like Anakin's experiences that he hasn't witnessed. So it's like there is some connection to Anakin still, and then he's calling out for Qui-Gon and everything. So it's like this is a very
I'm waiting for Qui-Gon to show
broken.
up because now they've
hinted at it.
they've hinted at it so much. I'm so excited for him to like show up and like in spirit to like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's gonna be such a good scene. I'm,
Yeah, because
like,
I mean
actually
they
so
call
excited.
back from the last film in chronological order of like Yoda being like we can still fucking talk to him spiritually and everything, and
Yeah.
now it's so that
And that was
would
one of the intro
most
clips, right?
likely-
Like when they like show clips from
Yeah.
the movie, that was like one of the ones that they put in there. So it was like obvious
Yeah.
foreshadowing that this like
Which is that's gonna be like a big point of his arc is gonna be learning the Force again and learning how to do shit like that.
Which I actually also thought it was really cool that they showed like the really like normal side of Obi-Wan with like him having to fight without power.
It's because it's like him like not discrediting, but like trying to walk away from the Force.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool because like you see him like even when he saves Leia at one point, like he struggles to save her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, he
because I think the first time he uses it in like a shit, a long time, right?
yeah.
So it's rusty. He's rusty with it.
Yeah.
You can tell he hasn't really
Which was
been with
cool.
the Force
I
for
like
a while.
that scene where like he saves her and like
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what the comments are. Hi Cloud, welcome. If Obi-Wan pans out as average or above average by the end, that'll be a shock given the current state of writers. I don't know. I have hope for it because I actually really like Mandalorian, whereas like Boba Fett I think had terrible writing. And that's like a personal thing. All I heard was you're chasing a 10-year-old. No, my brother's like a social worker. I mean, if characters were more fit, like in the 1800s, 1900s lifestyles, catching kids should not be a problem. Oh God. I mean, it's not that. It's like usually just around regulations about like what you can do. But with like his job, you can like, if a kid like books it, right, like you can do a little bit more. But
You
it's not,
wrangle
like,
him up,
yeah.
hog tie, real quick.
But like, I don't know if you've ever been around 10-year-olds, but if they book it, like they're not easy to catch.
Yeah, 10-year-olds aren't criminals. Like when they, they like, oh, if someone steals something, you don't chase after them. You chase after the 10-year-old.
Yeah.
There is no chase,
I
rule
fucked it. I
on
fucked it already.
children.
Sterling's also calling you out for a lightsaber fight outside my place, so
Oh, Sterling? Hell yeah.
I was about to say Sterling doesn't know where I live, but I actually realized he has been to my
He's
house.
been there.
He's been there.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Exactly. So I will be seeing him there.
No, that's good.
Also, I really I know people don't like young Leia. I really like young Leia.
People don't like her? I loved her!
People-
I thought she was
some
so
people don't like
good!
her. Some people are like she's annoying. I'm like, I don't, she's supposed to be.
She's
That's
a
her character.
10-year-old child
Oh.
who's got like a smart mouth. That's like literally what she's supposed to be. Like, I thought it was so good. Like her writing, her like how she was, I thought she was like
Yeah.
perfect for like what Leia was. Like I'm like, that is young Princess Leia to me. Like
The thing about
she was
the thing about-
smarty, she was smart, she was like witty, she was like sassy, like, and then she got into trouble all the time, and that's what Leia did. Like that's what we know
Yeah.
Leia's character as, and I'm like, I loved her. I thought she was so good.
Yeah. I thought this army's gonna get me. Like she's sassy. She
Yeah,
got it.
or even the
But
scene
I-
with her cousin, I thought that was hilarious. And she basically
Oh, yeah.
goes, she's like, you know what? I may be untraveled, but at least I'm not a little bitch.
Yeah. And like the thing about like Star Wars / like MCU fans, like that new age of them, they're nerds that aren't nerdy enough. And I say that because it's like a lot of them
Want cool and
have
not
critique. Well, they have critiques of certain things without like knowing like, oh, this is like a certain degree a form of art and shit, and like this is cinema. This is
Yeah.
it's why like you have those crazy comments of, oh, this is not cinema and everything, because a lot of the fans don't want it to be cinematic or this or that. So
True.
and I say that because they don't like characters like young Leia or oh fuck, what's the chick's name? The baddie chick, Reeve. That's what R.
Who?
Reva? Is that her name?
Oh yeah, Reva.
Unhinged
Reva?
girl? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was a good. I liked her because I think she's so
People like,
blunt.
she's annoying. She's fucking supposed to be annoying. That's the point.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? People are like, oh, this actress is bad or it's bad writing. Because it's annoying to you doesn't mean it's bad writing. That's intentional. No, that's intentional. That's what they wanted.
They want a
this
character who like does nothing they're told.
Yeah.
And who's
'Cause
supposed to like. But
it's
I also
kind of
liked her as a
set
villain
up.
because she's like one of those people who's like really like she was, to me, she's a villain because she just, there was no monologuing, there was none of this bureaucracy. She just fucked shit. Like she hated everyone,
Yeah.
she hated the world. I thought that was like holy shit. Like she stabs the guy with like no second thought. I know there's a lot of controversy about that because everyone's like, oh, he's alive in the future shows, and I'm like, we saw Darth Maul get cut in half and he comes back. Okay, if you think that's like a
Wait, the Inquisitor?
yeah.
Well, that we know he's still alive because their species has like two set of I can't remember, like two like stomachs or two set of organs, and unless both of them are stabbed or taken out,
Interesting. I didn't know
they're
that.
still
See,
alive.
people were like really pissed about that, and I was like, oh
no, he's still alive.
I was like, to
for
me,
sure.
I was like, are you guys stupid? We've seen people like Darth Maul literally
Yeah.
gets cut in half, he comes back. Anakin is burned half to death, and he comes back. Like
Yeah.
that's all
The-
things like this couldn't happen. Like you guys are
The
being,
rule
like,
of thumb with
pedantic.
Star Wars is unless you see them take their last breath, and even more than that, unless like they fucking become like a force spirit or some shit, they're probably alive.
Yeah.
You know?
Hi, Hedgegrown. I'm sorry, but the foot chase scene was ridiculous. Yeah, that wasn't good. That was like the one scene we were like trashing on because it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like just it was terrible choreography from whoever like designed that scene.
It was just, I mean, the writing there was just, again, they don't think a kid can run. Like, we're gonna surround her.
I don't know. I
We're
don't.
gonna give her
That,
all this room
it
to
was
go.
poorly choreographed because the guy, like, you see him run into a tree branch, but like he had enough time to stop, and he just like braces himself and then hits the tree. It was really funny. That was like
Yeah.
not great, but I don't know. Maybe that was like a last minute thing or something. I don't know. Same bro. The rate I'm going to see nobody for a year. Wait, what the fuck? Oh shit. Gas prices. I thought you were talking about something else for a second.
Hey, mama, come serve with herself. You know, it ain't that bad.
Oh, I gotta check
Sorry.
my car in the morning. Fuck.
Nice.
I totally forgot. I have like places I like left the house this morning because I had a hair appointment, and I realized like I got in my car and I had like 10 kilometers left, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, I'll make it there, but I won't make it home. I had to like switch to gas. I don't like doing that. It sounds like such
Well,
a stupid
Michelle-
thing to complain about, but I'm like, look, I'm saving my gas for necessary means, okay?
Yeah. Well, Michelle, you
Can't
gonna
just
play?
be using it willy-nilly.
No.
Oh, you should play.
What?
They should play.
No, what did Will say?
Oh,
He's dying.
Oh, what happened?
Sick.
Dang, it really did get all of us.
Michelle got him sick again.
I didn't do anything. Literally didn't even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm pretty sure it was you.
How? I'm not even sick.
Cooties.
Cooties.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how many episodes this is. Because my problem with Boba Fett was that it was short, and then
my problem with Boba Fett
act,
was a lot more than it was just short. That was just it wasn't a good show.
Listen,
it
was
wasn't
good.
good.
It's not great. It's not amazing, but it's good. Cause I remember even you liking some of the episodes when they were coming out.
I liked episode 2. That was it. That's the only one that I came away.
No, there was more than that you liked.
No, episode 2. Maybe 1 or 2 of the other episodes were like decent, but the only episode that I really enjoyed and really liked was episode 2.
So I feel like everybody's like viewing the show is like they were like, oh, it's at least okay as it was going on, and then they saw the last episode and they were like, it's trash. And I'm like, yeah, for the last episode for the series to end like that, yeah, it was kind of trash because it was like it went to a whole lot of nothing. But there was like a lot of good moments in that show, and
there
a
was
lot
like
of
good moments, but nothing that made me like nothing that got me like hyped enough. I don't know. It just like the show felt.
I got hyped for like.
I love Boba Fett. He was a great character,
Fett.
but I didn't like the show very much. Like the episodes that were good were the Mando episodes at the end. Like they did more with those than anything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, to give Mando some, or to give like Boba Fett some slack, like Mando was an easier character to play off because there is like more recent content with him and history with him, so it's like, oh, this is
I guess, but that's like even Obi-Wan has been so because I felt like like some of the Boba Fett episodes felt really really cheap to me, whereas like the 2 Mando episodes they did and all of the Mando series felt like very well like done. Like they were like there's a lot of effort put into like each episode, like the design, the dialogue, everything. Whereas like Boba Fett came off feeling cheap to me. I don't know if that was just a feeling I got.
Cheap, like as in like budget cheap.
I don't know, something like I guess it just I don't know. It just didn't look as nice. It looked a little bit like I don't know, cartoonish. I don't want to say cartoonish.
I think they saw the reception of a Mandalorian and doubled down on the whole space cowboy aspect of it.
But like it was just it didn't look good. Like it was like Mando was so like clean and dark and like whereas
I wouldn't say that.
You're absolutely wrong if you think Boba Fett was better.
No, I'm not saying bad. I'm not saying, I don't agree with it looking bad.
What, Boba Fett?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
It felt cheap to me. I felt like the costuming was cheap. It felt like,
Book of Boba Fett doesn't understand crime lords. But it was like, what do you mean by that? Because Boba Fett himself isn't supposed to be a quote unquote crime lord. I mean, he is, but he's not like a stereotypical crime lord. So they don't show much of like an actual. The only person who
looked good in that show, I think, Boba looked decent and Fennec looked good, but like everything else, I don't know. The sets, the dialogue was like lackluster for me. It was like kind of I don't know. The Boba Fett show felt like it had so much potential, and I felt like it just felt really flat for what it was. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I might have like the outsider opinion on that one. Which I'll own if that's true.
No, a lot of people like do not like the series. Again, I think it's like really just like the last bit people got really butthurt about and are like, because when the episodes were coming out, most people were like,
"Oh, this is..." I was like not a huge fan, other than the Mando episodes. Like it was cool. There was just nothing to the show to me. It felt like I don't. It sounds mean to say useless because I still. But like the Tusken Raiders episode was so good. Like that episode 2 is what got me, right? Like I saw that episode and I was like, oh, okay. After episode 1, I got really hyped because after episode 2, I was like, okay, this actually looks like it's gonna be really cool. And then it just like after episode 3, it just felt like it went nowhere. Like there was nothing to it. I don't know.
I honestly don't remember what happens in episodes. For the most part, I like the show, except for like the last like episode and a half, episode 2 episodes, where like they kind of just like are trying to wrap it up real quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I fucked up.
Years,
Let's see. Hey, nerd. Oh, Metabodal, it's been a while. Book of Boba Fett doesn't understand crime lores. That just hits pretty hard in VR. Boba has old man food, but that's mean. I think he looked fine. Boba's too trusting, would be killed, doesn't know how to hold territory or respect. Yeah, but I think that was like part of the show. That was like the whole plot of the show was that like he couldn't like he wasn't a leader, like he wasn't like a because he was so used to like he was a bounty hunter, right? Like he was used to being on his own. Like he never had to fill a role like that. So like that was the whole point was him trying to like command respect and attention without being like
it's him not liking how territories are run and held, and him wanting a quote unquote more noble way of doing it, and then learning like, oh, this is why people don't really.
This is why people aren't noble in these positions, right?
It's a lot harder.
Yeah,
and he learns that throughout the way, and even like Finnick's like, yo, maybe we should kind of
double down more, a little bit.
Yeah, and then he's like, nah, we're doing it this way, and he has to deal with like the consequences of that, and that being
trying
a much
to be
harder
noble,
route. Yeah, and then being much
that was the whole
harder
point.
route.
Like, I fucked up.
I think they understood the assignment for the most part. I just think they rushed at the end.
Yeah,
and maybe like people didn't want to go that route, and him going to be like maybe people wanted him to be just a bounty hunter. But I feel like it was a cool switch up.
They wanted him to be like a redemption arc, but the redemption arc they gave him was just like meh.
Like, but it's also like, what kind of redemption arc does he like? It's more of just like him kind of finding himself again, being like, oh, maybe this bounty hunter shit wasn't like the end all.
The whole thing felt like meh to me. I didn't enjoy the show. Like it was fun. I did. It's not that I didn't enjoy it at all. It was just like I felt like they could have done better with that show than they did. I don't know, but. Whereas, like, Mando, I, like, really enjoyed The Mandalorian pretty much all the way through. Like, there's episodes that were, like, filler, which was fine. But, like, Mandalorian I've pretty much enjoyed all the way through.
Yeah.
But, again, I think one of the biggest things for me was the dialogue writing between them. And I don't know, like... Because I know it's the same people, like, working on these shows. But I was like, why was the dialogue so much worse?
I don't... Maybe you gotta watch the show, because I don't remember bad dialogue from there. Like, it was Star Wars dialogue, which is always
no, it
like,
wasn't. Boba Fett, that was my biggest critique, was it just didn't feel like Star Wars at points. Like, maybe it was too space cowboyish, and I feel like maybe they felt too into that, like... But, I don't know. It felt like it wasn't...
My thing with
the only person who sounded
like
they were in Star Wars was, like, Fennec and Boba Fett, but no one else felt like they were, like, a Star Wars character.
I only see that with the little, like, biker gang. That was
the
the only
biker
time I'm
gang,
like, yeah, this
gay
is
dude,
stupid.
all of the like.
But
like,
everything else, all of the other stuff is
the
shit
senators,
we've seen
any
in
of
Mando.
those guys, like all of the politician guys, like none of them, like it just.
Because
they were just lame, and like those guys are supposed to be smart. Like this wasn't like these aren't characters that like people don't know about. Like
Obi-Wan is like the most like Star Wars has felt in a long time. Because even Mandalorian didn't feel like traditional Star Wars. It was like a newer
but like
take
it
on
still
it.
felt like okay, I'm watching a bounty hunter out of Star Wars.
Boba Fett to me is just an extension of that.
No, because I felt like Mando had really good lines. Like even like he still felt like it was Star Wars from a different person's perspective, which like was cool. I really liked it. Like I really enjoyed like the way they played Mando's character because it made sense to me, right? But like I don't know. It was flat. I didn't enjoy it, but that's just me.
I'm still hoping for another season of Boba Fett.
No, I don't think there's another season.
They're not going to, because Boba Fett was always supposed to be one season, which is what makes it like so weird to me. That ending makes way less sense to me because it's just like.
I guess they're just trying to leave it as like now he's like on his own.
They just wanted to do the show just to do the show. They had no.
Yeah, it was like
they
were like, oh, we're gonna. What the fuck? Why am I out of focus?
Because again, I'm probably in the minority of saying that I like a lot of direction they went with Boba Fett. I just hate how they ended it.
Okay, I thought more people liked it than I did, but maybe I just wasn't looking at the right places. But I also wasn't like on like social media.
Well, people from what I remember, people liked like the first half of the show, and then when it was kind of revealed like, oh, this is not really going anywhere, it starts to dip.
Well, that's what I was even saying. Like after like for me, it was like episode 1, 2, and 3 weren't bad, but episode 4 on was like when I kind of lost it.
That was what I was saying. I was like in the beginning, you liked it.
I said that. I said like episode 2.
No, you said only 2 was good.
Only 2 was good, but I didn't mind episode 1 and 3 even were fine. But episode 2 was the only good episode, is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. Let's see. Nobody cares about Boba anymore. Mando's just a better version. Okay, no. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're a child. But people still love Boba Fett. He was a really good character. Boba just wants his money. I would legit rather Cobb... Oh, I thought you were going to say something sexual there. Never mind. Don't worry about that. I expect Boba series with all the politics to run more like a mob story. Yeah, that's what I think I was expecting. It felt like super lackluster. It felt boring. Like, I don't know why. It did nothing. The whole show did nothing to me. I don't think it's redemption. He literally commits more crime. Does he? They don't really commit crime. He's trying to avoid committing crime, but like they're stuck up in a crime circle because that's like the planet they live on.
It's different type of crime. One is crime for like just a quick buck, right?
Yeah,
he's
versus
fucking
like crime.
He's doing crime the same way of like fucking
Robin Hood, you know,
Mandalorian is doing it, but just with like less morals and shit. Versus now he's like crime with morals because like it's a corrupt place.
Crime for the good of the people, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's more like the Robin Hood shit.
Yeah, which again would have been cool if like they had like at least played a little bit more on that. But like it felt like that was like a side thing to his character. Was like he's trying to be all good, but like I don't know. It just they could have done so much with like I think they could have done more.
I look at Boba Fett series like the same way I look at like Solo, which is like just like a little bit more of a better pacing and writing would have done it wonders. But it's still not horrible.
I think Solo I at least enjoyed a lot more, whereas like Boba Fett was like, okay, it's cool, it's fine. Whereas like Solo, the first 10 minutes was bad, and then after that I was like, oh, this is actually kind of a cool movie.
It's good.
I remember when we went to watch Solo, though, it was kind of funny, because we were just like, there's nothing else to watch in theaters, let's go watch this trash piece of shit. And then we like watched it and we're like, actually, that wasn't bad.
What'd you say, Michelle?
So it was fine.
Oh yeah, the one Star Wars film you watched.
Yeah.
No context, it was like fine.
Well, it wasn't something you really needed a lot of context with. Because it was a standalone thing.
That's what I'm saying. It was like fine as a movie.
Mando definitely felt like Star Wars. Yeah, see, Mando felt like Star Wars. He agrees. Hedge grown agrees. It's the only thing that's felt like Star Wars in years. Best part of Boba Fett shows were literally the Mando episodes. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Other than episode 2, which Hobie seems to agree. 1 to 3, Boba was and then they kicked him out of his own show. That's what it felt like. Boba wasn't even like the star character of his own show. It felt like it was like I don't even know if there was a main character. It didn't feel like there was a main character half the time.
For Boba Fett?
It felt like a side plot to a different story.
It definitely isn't
after
like a
episode 3. Like I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch the show, but
it definitely is like a spin-off. Like it feels like a spin-off for sure.
It feels like a spin-off.
To be like, oh, Mando isn't, or Boba Fett isn't like the main character. Like no, it is because it's like his trauma, his this and that, and that. Like a lot of what they were going for was good. They just never flushed it out.
Yeah, but that I think that's what made it feel like it was like he was a side character in his own show. Like his plot was like the side plot of whatever was going on. Like it felt like there was like
the Mando's never been a main character. Like even in the original trilogy, Mando doesn't get that much time on screen.
Or Boba.
No, Mando, fucking Boba doesn't fucking get that much time on screen.
Yeah,
nor that much of an explanation or anything, as far as like lore or anything goes.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. I didn't enjoy the show personally.
So when they're making like a show of the character like that, who's like beloved like that, like it is gonna be a hard thing to do because it's like
it's
not
a hard
much to
thing,
really
but they
go
definitely
off
could have
on,
done
but,
better. And I know they could have done
sure.
better because Mando was definitely.
Given that if the series had like another episode or two, and they could have paced it better, like yeah, it'd been a lot better.
I don't know. I think they just needed to have better story writing, better. The characters in Boba to me sucked ass so hard.
A lot of them did.
Other than
seem
Fennec, who I loved,
disposable.
like I loved Fennec. I thought she was really cool. But other than that,
I thought Black Air Force Chewie would do more, but
yeah, Black Air Force Chewie. I liked him. He was actually cool.
If they did more with him, it would have been.
I keep
like,
wanting
if
to
they
call
made
him
it
Kronk,
more of
and I
like
know it's not
a
Kronk.
ragtag group of people coming together and not just being like all these side characters are disposable, it would have been better. Like
I liked the actual like cowboy guy. I forget his name, but he was cool. I liked him too. But he was also from Mando first.
Fuck.
You know who I'm talking about? The like cowboy space ranger. Yeah, he was funny.
Starts with a C.
I enjoyed his character. No,
Cad
not
Bane?
Cad Bane.
Like,
The
Cad Bane.
actual cowboy who ran the other town.
The human dude
Yeah, the
from
human
Mando,
dude.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't remember his name.
yeah. Everyone watched Solo. We're buried in mediocrity and worse. There were literally 2 whole episodes devoted to Mando and Grogu. Yeah, honestly. That's like the thing is like the fact that you had a whole other series and 2 of the episodes, like they had 2 more episodes, Rams. They didn't use them for Boba Fett.
Well, that was like I felt like okay, they kind of had to because like again, this is not a main.
Didn't they could have explained
thing.
it in its own show
This is
later on.
they're treating this like it is like the most side or not side, what a spin-off series as it could be.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, this was the show that was supposed to make Boba a main character, but that's because it's called Star Wars.
And I do feel like the purpose of this show was more of a setup for season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, probably.
So that's why I give it more of a
But when you're gonna take like
leeway
a
because
beloved
I'm like,
character
oh,
like Boba
when season
Fett,
3 of
I feel like they
Mandalorian comes
could
out,
have
maybe a lot of this would make more sense.
You take
right?
a beloved character like Boba Fett and you make his like whole show dedicated to like setting up somebody else's show. Like I love Mando, don't get me wrong, but like if you're gonna do a whole show about Boba Fett, I feel like you should just do a show about Boba Fett.
Yeah, but I feel like this was a way to bring Boba because like Boba does not have that much screen time or anything that like if they did like a Darth Maul show or some shit like that, I could feel like there would be more focus on that. But with the Boba show, like again, Boba doesn't have that much screen time in general before this, so it was like there's not much to even go off of.
I mean, there's like definitely a lot of lore they could have built off of, like especially like
There is. And a lot of like even like a lot of stuff that was made for Boba, like the comics is always like a kerfuffle of shit because there was like a lot of comics about Boba Fett that then they retcon and there's like now legends and not actual canon and this and that. So you know, that's the one thing I feel like is really messy with Star Wars right now is like they're so quick to be like, oh, this is not lore. This is lore.
Yeah, Disney kind of fucked that though.
And then it's just like it's so confusing.
Because Disney didn't want to take a lot of the old stuff, which like because they like didn't want stuff that they couldn't take credit for. Basically, I don't know.
Well, also it just didn't fit with like the branding that they wanted to go forward with Star Wars.
Which sucked so hard because it's like all the stuff that like everyone loved, they like got rid of. A tragedy indeed. Like, I never even finished Clone Wars, but, like, I want to go back and finish it, because, like, I never got a chance to. I watched a lot of it with my brother.
Clone Wars, I'm pretty sure all Clone Wars is still canon.
No, so it wasn't for a while. Disney was saying for a while that it wasn't canon.
Oh, for a while, like, but no, for now, yeah. For now it is.
Yeah, but Disney got so much backlash for, like, threatening to take that out of, like, being canon that, like, that they ended up, like, I think they, like, rescinded that statement. Bro, the whole premise of Book of Boba Fett is boring. Now fans have to watch a crappy sideshow to get Mando lore. Why would this be a good idea? Yeah, I guess, like, I mean, that's how you get, like, that's business, though, right? That's how you want to get other people watching, like, your other shows. Like, oh, shit, there's going to be stuff I miss here. Like, that's how you just get people to view it, right?
Well, they're going to keep doing, like this in the Ahsoka series.
Because you want extended
universe.
Be... That's the big thing right now. Everyone wants their extended universe. So, like, if they, like, integrate everything between shows, it makes people view every show. And then it also like gives you that cool like, oh look, we have an extended universe, which is like, okay, that's fine.
Like we know Anakin will be in Ahsoka, so this and Ahsoka are going to connect for sure. So like it's something that they're planning on doing more of, just like connecting everything together. And I'll even bet that whatever Taika Waititi is working on is going to connect to like the Mandalorian or something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know what they want to say right now. It's going to be its own thing, standalone, blah blah blah. That's how Disney goes.
That's how it goes.
Fuck, I don't need this piece.
I did see there was a lot of people upset about the Order 66 scene, though. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Upset in what way? Because they didn't add nothing that much to Order 66.
Because of the stuff that happened in Texas last week with the school shooting.
Okay, that's his timing.
Yeah, and I was fine with people saying, like, I, like, can kind of understand, like, maybe putting a trigger warning. Like, I don't really care for, like, trigger warning stuff, which is fine. But, like, I can understand how people might be, like, if you're, like, directly affected by a shooting like that, maybe you'd be more sensitive to it. which I can understand. But the people who are like, oh, they should delay it or they should like take that scene out, I'm like, no, I don't think that's like necessary. I think it's like
you can't do that.
You can't do that. I think it's like one of those things where it's like if they
so
just like put a warning
unrealistic.
and being like, hey, like there's sensitive stuff, and in like light of like recent news, like we're adding this like so that people can like kind of decide if they want to watch this right now. But I kind of got annoyed with people who were like, they should take this out, like it's super insensitive, and I was like, okay, it's like sad, but like I don't know if it's like worth taking the whole scene out. I would just put like a warning at the beginning being like, you know, in light of recent events.
Well, they don't even, because like it's so like, okay, I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. Like yeah, people were affected by that, and some people might be triggered by it, but you can say that about 101 things.
All
So
the
then you
war
have to put
movies
a
that came
warning.
out while we were bombing Afghanistan, you mean?
Anything, war movies, any kind of thing that has any kind of trauma or anything in it,
Yeah.
right? And it's people are so complex, and people get hurt or misfortune or just anything. Like there's a lot of things that people can be traumatized about.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna put a warning for everything. Like it sucks, but it's just like you can't cater to everybody like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how I felt about it. But like that's the only thing I was like, I can understand people asking maybe for a warning, like at the most, but
Yeah.
it felt like.
But
kind
even
of
a
weird.
warning, it's like I feel like it's too close to each other to do that. Because again, it's like it's not like they just wrapped up post production the other day before the show came out. Like it's been wrapped for a while.
Let's see. Bad Batch, future audience, you go to Mando season 3 and feel like you missed content because there's a jump. This is up there with KH3 having a whole bunch of side games to understand what's going on, levels crap. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good business idea. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, like where you have to watch the other show to be able to watch it, because I don't like having to do that. It's like, if Marvel starts doing stuff where you have to watch the shows to be able to understand the movies, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't watch any
It's
of the
just to
shows.
connect, I believe.
Pardon?
Because like the Marvel shows, right? They're basically doing what the Marvel shows are doing with connecting shit, which is connected, but you don't have to watch everything to understand. Like
Yeah,
Multiverse of
but
Madness
that's
just came
only
out,
if
and
it's like
they gave a list of things to watch before Multiverse of Madness. Like, oh, here's some context or whatever, and I watched half of that shit because I didn't watch What If or anything, but I don't think I missed anything from not watching What If or anything like that. Nor do I feel like most of the shows I did watch prior to this like helped me understand anything more of the story they're trying to tell.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I think
so
the
it's
only
like
thing is, like,
just
if
context
they-
and shit. Yeah, like world building, they're connected that way, but you know.
It's the only thing is like if like you have to watch the show to be able to like understand it, which again, marketing wise is like really smart, but like for people who it's like I just want to watch Mando, but like I didn't really care for like Boba Fett, so I don't want to watch through the whole thing to be able to like get the context for the show I actually want to watch. Like I can understand that too.
But I have two takes on that because I have where it's like it's kind of necessary for some type of storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Not spoilers, but
Because there is quite a bit that happens with Mando's character in the Boba Fett series, right? But you could also go watch
take
those.
something like Multiverse of Madness, where it's like, yeah, watching WandaVision will give you a lot of context that you should probably have when you're going to this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you don't want to fucking watch something before watching something else, the internet is free. And the
That's
internet
also
has
true.
all
Yeah, that's
information.
kind of fair. You can like watch
Right?
a recap, but I don't know if it's like gives you
You
the full
can
context
10 minutes or less. You can know whatever you need to know to go into something else.
Yeah.
Like, if someone was gonna watch Multiverse of Madness and has never watched WandaVision, I'd be like, yeah, just look up the synopsis and everything for the show, and you'll.
And to be fair with Boba Fett, the thing is, you could go watch like because the episodes are so like discreet. Like you could go watch the 2 episodes with Mando in it and like be caught up pretty much. I think.
Yeah. And if it was something else, I would get people being mad about it. But something with Star Wars, and more importantly, something with the MCU, the MCU coming straight from comics. That's how comic books do it.
Yeah.
So to tell those stories, you kind of need to have connect. Like, right? Like every year, DC and Marvel have a new fucking big event happening. Right? DC is about to have their Dark Crisis event. And it's like you gotta be reading Batman, Robin, Deathstroke, just do fucking the Shadow Wars, and then that leads into this. So you gotta read Justice League to prepare yourself for that. So it's like all these other stories that you have to read before that to even prepare. But you could go into it blind without reading those shit.
Yeah.
And it will somewhat make sense. That's what good writing is, when you don't necessarily need those things.
That's
and so
fair.
if they do it with good writing, and they keep doing this whole thing where it's like, oh, all these shows lead up to this and that, it's like, as long as the writing is good, it should be able to have new fans that don't know anything prior to this go in it and enjoy it, and people who have done all of that enjoy it too, just in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. How do I?
Like no, I mean nobody said that when Endgame came out, right?
I mean,
Whereas
yeah,
like,
but
oh,
like
yeah,
we
watch
all
all
know
this.
that Endgame is like a finale to like a big series that's already been happening. It's kind of different when you have like side shows that are like right, like because if someone's watching like a series of movies, like you can at least somewhat expect them to watch all the movies to like get to that point, right? Like everyone knew Endgame was like that like final movie in like a series, but when you're expecting people to watch all these shows in order to understand like your big movies coming
But they're
out,
not.
that
They're not. It's really it's just the only time they've done it is right now with WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness.
yeah,
And
but
you,
I
I
don't
would
want
even
people.
argue
I
you
don't want
don't
this to
need to
become like
watch.
a normal thing because now it's gonna
It
be like
won't. It won't. It won't. And that's why people are mad though, because it's not like that. Because everybody's complaining about Phase 4 of MCU right now is that it's not connecting and it feels like it's leading to nowhere, right? So it's like, okay, what
Yeah.
do you want? Do you want it to be connected and everybody has to watch everything, or not connected and then anybody can jump in wherever it is, right?
Yeah. Did you see Stranger Things? I haven't seen the newest season. I've watched up to season 3. I haven't had time to watch the new season. I haven't had time to watch
I'll
it.
watch episode 1. Episode 1 is cool. I'm just not excited to watch the rest because it is fucking long as shit.
Is it really?
The last episode, so it's in 2 batches. I think it's 5-6 episodes right now, and then 2 episodes come out like next week or the week after, or whatever. The last episode in this batch is an hour 38 minutes,
Oh shit! It's like
which is a
half
movie time. Yeah, and they're all over an hour, which like most like I guess hour block TV would be like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 45 to
Right.
50 minutes
Because like it used to be like an hour of you know
with
of,
commercials.
cable TV with 10 minutes of like ads in it, you know. So you go into 50 minutes, but like they don't have that restriction or anything, so they can
Yeah.
make it as long as they want.
Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't had time to watch anything new, so I haven't watched it. But I probably will, just because I like enjoyed the first few seasons. I feel like it's one of those shows that could have been done in 2 seasons, though. I feel like they're like it's one of those shows that I feel like they're dragging out for like no reason because like the premise
Nah,
is so.
'cause most of it has been like it's been top tier TV.
I feel like I didn't enjoy season 3 like as much as these first 2 seasons.
Really,
be
because most
honest.
people don't like season 2. People love season
Or
3
maybe
and
it was
1.
season 2. Maybe it was season 2 that I didn't like then.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a while since I watched them.
If you haven't
I
watched
liked,
season
you know what it
3, I
was?
would
I
understand, but, like,
I
season
liked
3
the
was really
relationships
good.
we saw build in season 3, but like the actual plot like was like okay.
Well, season 3 was more expanding the quote unquote world of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Right, we're introduced to more people with powers. We're introduced to like, you know, more characters that I mean, I'm predicting there will be bigger characters this season than there were last
Yeah.
season, but like Robin and all them.
What did Obi-Wan do for like 20 years? I don't know. He sat in the. Well, that's what we're finding out with the new show, aren't we? He sat for 10 years doing nothing because he's sitting in the desert, which we found out from the show. I don't know if you haven't watched the show. I put spoiler warning in the fucking title. So he sat in the desert for 10 years, and now he's gonna go save Princess Leia, and then he'll probably sit in the desert for another 10 years. So probably that. That was like the whole point is he's like sitting in the desert for years until, you know, things change. That's kind of the whole plot.
He's a bad uncle. I mean, yeah.
He's a
Questionable
bad
uncle.
uncle? What is he supposed to do?
Questionable uncle.
I mean, I guess. But Ben didn't want him in, like, Luke's life because he wanted to keep him safe, which is fair, because he also knew that if he was in, like around the kids too much, there was a chance, like, if he gets caught, like, they're all in danger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you...
Well, I mean, I took a bad uncle as in, like,
Uncle
to
Owen?
Leia. Huh? No. I took Ben as or Obi-Wan as a bad uncle, as in like, a bad uncle to like Leia, because he's like,
Oh,
hey,
he's
fuck
like,
her,
I
in the
can't do
beginning.
it. Yeah. He's like, I gotta watch the point. It's like,
which
are you
honestly, like at first I was like, really, and then I was like, it kind of makes sense because like they were after Obi-Wan.
Yeah. They split because they need subs. I still need to watch it. Oh. Yeah.
Wait, what? They split because they
Stranger Things,
need
I think he was talking
subs?
about.
Is that wait? Do you mean like they split the episode release dates?
Maybe. What happened in season... What happened in season 2?
Of Stranger Things.
I'm trying to remember, like, how it was split up. I'm actually trying to remember, like... what happened in season 2, what happened, because I remember season 3 pretty distinctly. I can't remember what happened in season 2 very much.
Honestly, they're all a blur to me.
That's the thing. After you watch a few seasons of a show, everything's a blur.
Yeah, I mean, I should have probably like watched recaps and stuff before jumping in, but I'm too lazy to do that. I'm just gonna jump in and figure it out.
Usually I have a recap at the beginning of the show, and that's enough to give me like context, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
I forgot all the shit with Hopper and shit. Like,
isn't he dead?
No. In the end of season 3, he's in Russia. They think he's dead, but he's in Russia.
Am I stupid? Did I miss a scene at the end?
Maybe. It was like the one of the last scenes where they're like, oh, he's dead. No, he isn't. Then they show him in Russia.
Where he gets obliterated, like, right?
So he basically kind of like teleports to Russia within the portal and shit like that. And then
I must have missed a whole scene.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's like in like a prison or some shit in Russia or some shit.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Black Widow?
No, for sure, because I just watched the first season. The first season confirmed it as well. Or not the first season, the first episode confirms it as well.
Fuck! Oh my god, did I miss a whole scene at the end of this
as viewers, we all know by the end of the last season 3 that he's in Russia, except for like the cat, like the actual.
Oh my god, I might have skipped a whole scene in that show and just not realized.
But this is what makes me think. I don't think are you sure you watched season 3?
I did, because I remember the other like.
Because season 3 was good. If you're still on the bench, season 3 was good.
Because I liked that they had like Dustin and what's his face like become best friends. I thought that was really cute.
Oh, that is season 3, yeah.
Yeah, because then they have like the ice cream girl and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Robin. I watched season 3.
It was hot as shit.
It's just been so long. The girl?
Robin, yeah.
Oh, she was cute. I liked her.
Who I didn't know she's what's his name? Fucking.
I don't think I'm taking callers too hard.
What's your dad's name?
Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer. That sounds so familiar, but why can't I remember what any of this is? Has my memory gotten that bad that I'm like at that point?
She's Ethan Hawke's daughter, which, you know, I guess good acting just runs in their family.
What was the Mind Flayer? Why does that sound so familiar? And why can I not remember what it is? My mind's gone to shit through school.
It's one of the big monsters. It's like the big monster that's taking over. It was like the D&D character that is actually a real character.
Wasn't that season 3 where it's in the mall though? Oh no, because it's happening in multiple dimensions.
Season 3. So season 3, in the end of season 3. Wait, is it season 3 or 2 that's at the... No, season 3 is where they're at the school.
At the mall.
At the mall? There is a mall. The mall is introduced in season 3. But I'm pretty sure the end is in the school.
No, it's not. It's in the lab, isn't it? Were they in that other lab?
No, because they find the portal. Or whatever it is.
But that's in the lab. Is it not?
What lab?
They're all separated. At the end of season 3. Am I thinking of season 2? No, they're all separated at the end of season 3.
Do we just need to watch a season 1 to 3 recap real quick?
Maybe. Mind Flayer sounds too D&D. Yeah,
Well, because it was a D&D, so it's not called a Mind Flayer, and like, you know, it's not named itself the Mind Flayer, but they had the Mind Flayer as a D&D character.
I don't remember season 2 at all. Oh my god. Because I know at the end of season 1, he still has like that, like he's still throwing up the black goo like the little kid. And then season 2, I remember starting off with him, like he's still stuck halfway between worlds almost. Like he's still like kind of like going back and forth. Or like in his head at least. And I remember
season 3, we find the portal. Season 3 also introduces the crazy science dude who explains a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They have
but there's the whole laboratory things that happens.
Billy, who is like the girl's brother, who's like
yeah. Because Billy wasn't in season 2, right?
I don't believe so.
I'm losing my mind.
I feel like we should just watch a recap.
I'm actually losing my mind. Yeah.
Just pull up a recap and watch it.
Star Wars is very dependent on important things happening off screen. How do they build up such a massive fleet of ships? I don't know. It happened off screen, so no explanation. Yeah. I mean, not everything was perfect about Star Wars, but I think like the concept of Star Wars was like, I think the like way the story was told rather than like the actual story itself was like the big thing. Like I think even when Star Wars came out, it was like really dramatic. It was like something so new and different that people got really excited about it. But the story writing wasn't perfect, and I don't think it ever was meant to be. Like but like the story itself was like, and the way it was told, I think was like more important. and that's what got people so excited about it, and that's why like Star Wars has such a draw for most people, except for the fucking new ones, the sequels. They suck. Season 3
Do
is a
they
big
open
blob
the
monster who
portal
gets
again
Billy.
in season 3? Wait, what the fuck happened in season 3 then?
Yeah, because they're in the fucking
Wait, just
lab.
open up YouTube, look up
No, I don't
because
wanna get
we're
the
gonna lose our
NPC.
minds.
Okay.
Fucking trying to figure this out.
Okay.
It's like trying to figure out a puzzle
Stranger.
that's all white pieces without, you know.
Stranger Things. Season 1 to 3 recap.
Wait, William, you watch the show.
Yeah.
Are you too sick to kind of help us out figure out what happened in
What
season 3?
just happened?
What are you
I don't
trying
want
to
that.
figure out? Just
We're trying to figure out what actually happened in season 3 of Stranger Things.
Okay. Hold on, I think we got it.
Billy basically pulled up, and then he got like taken over by some evil shit, and he was doing some
We all-
shit.
Okay,
And
you're
then,
sick.
like-
You're sick.
Never mind,
It's
don't
okay.
say
It's
anything,
okay.
Will. It's okay, you're good.
It's okay. We'll
Okay,
figure it
wait.
out.
So I remember season 3, but I can't remember season 2. Because season 3, he comes in and tries to fucking yoink him.
Okay, look up season 2 review and a season
Right?
3 review.
Billy tries to fucking
Season
kill him
three
at some
is like
point.
when everything started really popping off.
Yeah, like when there was like a big baddie, and like we see like, other power users or whatever they call them.
Yeah, I
Season
remember.
two, I think like the military came in or some shit, and there was like a whole thing.
Wait, when do we see fucking Eleven's mom?
Season 3. I think.
Uh,
Because I remember it, I'm assuming it's season 3.
Jagmeet Singh got run out of Brampton. What the fuck? Okay, what
Oh,
that's another
yeah.
topic.
Oh, we'll talk about that after. That was cool.
Hey, yo, anyone else got a fucking soccer net in their Windows search bar?
Huh?
I got a fucking like soccer net in my search bar for some reason.
No, I don't
No,
see
but
that.
also you sound horrible.
I'm aware.
Why you go
What the
after
fuck did you do to him, Michelle? God.
Throw fuck
She's
him, man.
asleep.
Sorry.
Did she just coughed?
Yeah, well, she's asleep.
Damn.
Coughing in her sleep. Okay, wait. Let's see if any of these people can explain it. Any of you guys can actually explain it. I mean, as long as there's enough legit. Okay, wait, I don't care. The Empire fleet setting. Okay, you guys are still talking about Star Wars in here. They need engineers and stuff. The original trilogy was better at logistics. The new ones were really has no accounting for anything. Palpatine has come back somehow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like any of the new movies for Star Wars. So other than Rogue One and Solo was decent. Rogue One was really good. Solo was just like it was a good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Season 3, Russia opens a portal. Had a tough decision. Watch Ryan George pitch meeting YouTube videos up to Disney Plus. You can't do both because Ryan George will. Okay. Anyways, heading back out. Good luck. Oh, okay. See you, man. Is this in Discord season 2? Her mom is in info. Her mom info is in season 2, but she meets her mom in season 3, right? Or does she meet her mom in season 2? Okay, hold on. We're just gonna go through the recap quick. Oh, I don't want it like stupid Netflix. I don't want it ABCD. Stranger Things season 1 to 3 recap.
Oh, just go on YouTube and watch a video.
I don't want to get claimed. I don't want to get striked.
No one's gonna claim you.
That's what Jubilee said. Actually, I can just turn it back on my camera, and we can just listen to it. That's fine. Okay.
Malik's 501 Levi story.
Shut up. Season 2 is when she meets her sister, and they have a weird ass. Wait,
11
how?
sister? 11 has a sister?
11 does it up. Does 11 have a sister? Watched the new Star Wars movie once. Had no rewatch value. Yeah, I didn't even watch all of them. I watched the first 2, and I didn't watch the third one just because like everyone told me it was terrible. So I was like, I'm not wasting my time.
Can your conditioner do this?
I wait for like a bunch of like my brother and a bunch of my family to watch movies so that I can like I don't have to actually watch them myself.
Evan Lanningham and Holy Eggo waffles, y'all. I'm so pumped for Stranger Things season 4.
Is
It's on by tonight.
motherfucking what's his fucking name?
Oh, the girl who grew up with her in the lab. Okay, I do kind of remember that.
Yeah, just the other power
They
users and
got
shit.
one more-
No. There's in season 2. There's a girl who was in the lab with her that she knew.
Yeah, who has powers, right?
Does she have powers? Maybe. But I think I thought you were talking about the gang that they meet in like season 3 that has like a bunch of them have powers. Or did they have powers? Did they not have powers? Were they just a gang of bandits? I don't even remember now.
One of them has them.
The girl, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
that season 3 though?
She can make people see things. Yeah. Illusions, all that shit. It's fucking Samwise in season 2 or 3. It's 2, right?
Season
The actor
season
who plays
2.
Sam. Yeah.
Because he dies at the end. I don't think he was in season 3. That must have been season 2. It was her gang and only the girl had powers. That was all That was season 2? Oh. Oh, the guy who plays in Lord of the Rings, the guy who plays Samwise Gamgee. He was the boyfriend in season 2. Yo, hello. I know, I'm sorry, it's been a while. I don't stream very much. I haven't in the last couple of weeks because I've been busy. But we're trying to figure out the plot line to like Stranger Things season 1, 2, and 3 because it's been so long.
Okay, yeah, no, the big fight is in the mall at the end
of season 3.
Yeah.
Dies alone in a parallel program. First, Jim Hopper.
Okay, so
Little E.T. Will.
So season 1 I remember pretty easily.
Life seems pretty much back.
We're introduced to
Sadie comes in season 2. Sadie and Billy.
After losing 11
introduced in season 2 or
Yeah.
PTSD with a scientist named Dr. Owens, and this
what was he doing in season 2 then? Was he just an asshole in season 2 and then get like?
Then there's Billy Hargrove.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, maybe he came in later.
Will. I'm sorry, it's not funny. I'm sorry.
It's funny.
Bro,
We're just making fun of a sick kid.
Like I feel like I have you in my arms and you're taking your last breath right now, Will.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get the soccer net off my taskbar.
What did you mean? Can you send a picture of it? Because I don't know.
Bro,
I need a picture of this too.
let me share my screen real quick.
This generation of people who make movies and shows seem to be really lost when it comes to maintaining lore and consistency. Then again, I've seen some articles where it's admitted they wanted to make a show how they want it, and it was going to be loosely based on.
I don't think it's the generation of people who are making the shows, but it's like everything is always a money grab. Like in the '80s, it was like, oh, how we're gonna sell fucking toys and shit. Oh, Gremlins, TMNT, and this and that. And then now it's like, how do we get subscriptions and how do we get people to
like
watch the other shit too?
I feel like no one can like
Right down here.
Hold up.
I feel like a lot of times like we're either making remakes or things that have like we can
Okay, where?
things we're watching like multiple of.
In the search bar.
Oh, the soccer?
How do I get? Why is that there?
I have it too.
Why?
I don't have it.
I think it's just a Windows thing.
How do I get rid of it? I don't like it.
This is what you. I thought it was like a.
I thought it was on Google or something. I was so confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Homie.
But you know how
That's-
Google always
you're
has like
so
a weird
funny, Will.
Google animated thing? It's like that just for Windows.
Yeah, they need to stop doing that. It looks terrible as hell.
I literally thought there was something wrong with the computer.
Because there's about some soccer championship. I don't care. Get it off.
Shadowy vines, and when Joyce puts the sketches to the party poster,
I'm about to switch to Linux.
Oh!
was tortured by MK Ultra and fed LSD during her pregnancy. Burr has re-entered the Upside Down. And poor Bob gets tackled and eaten. Steve.
That's right. The second they have that little fucking pet thing in the second season, and then like basically it's Will going in and out of like the mind
Dustin's
flayer.
little pet.
Yeah, Dustin's little pet.
And Jonathan get
And it eats everything.
tracked down habitualized, and they realize that the
So,
only way
yeah.
to kill the vines is to get the mind flayer out of him first. But
Dart,
after
yeah.
burning the vines and therefore injuring both Will and the monster, Will is
So it's still
possessed
attached to
with a
Will,
total
so every
of
time they like hurt the
forensic
monster, it hurts
science
Will.
fed LSD during her pregnancy.
Then there's the lady. Okay, yeah, the pregnant lady.
Howling with demodogs and poor Bob
So wait,
is
okay,
insane.
Billy, did he get corrupted by something, or what was he evil?
Now fully
Yeah, you got like corrupted or something. I mean, he was an asshole before, but then
Yeah.
Yeah, then he gets corrupted by like the demon thing.
I think he was like a murderous asshole.
I think it was the mind flayer or something. Honestly, I can't remember.
Yeah. Where's season 3 start? Was this here? What the fuck is
This is a
season?
blast of energy. The back is closed, but the monster is locked inside with us. In Stranger Things 3,
That's right. They closed the portal, but the monster's still on this side. So
it turns out that Murray Bauman's conspiracies were right all along.
Okay, season 2 and season 3 for me had so much bleed over because those stories were much more connected than season 1 was from season. You know, like season 1 to season 2, it's like there was like a distinct ending. For season 2, I think it was like it was meant to bleed right into season 3. So I think that's why like season 3 seems like it was like so much a part of season 2, and I can't distinctly like remember those as different
Russians are now
things.
more deadly of their operation.
Oh, okay. No, I'm watching a recap for season 3. Yeah, a lot of this makes sense.
Yeah,
So it
now
was like the Russian little scientist or whatever. They get him.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Hey, you watched the new Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Yeah, I watched it last night. Why? Trump is Joe's... Oh, God.
People keep bringing up Trump. It's over. He's gone. He's playing golf.
I thought you were about to say he's dead. I was like, okay.
I mean, he's got one foot in the grave.
Apparently,
Every politician we have has one foot in the grave, to be fair. They're all too old. Actually, no, that's just the States. Canada's okay. We just have shitty politicians who get ran out of their own hometowns.
Apparently, he'd be talking a lot on one social media platform, whatever it's called, the free. What is it called?
There's a bunch of them.
Because Twitter banned him, so he went somewhere else. And he's like, "This is the greatest media platform of all time."
I don't remember. There's a bunch of them.
Elon Musk is gonna help him out after he over leverages his shares and gets.
Oh no, I'm out of water. Hi, psychologist. How's it going? I'm finally back to streaming.
I'm gonna go make myself a fucking peppermint tea. I'll be back.
Sounds like you need it.
Oh my God, Will, please. Poor kid is like dying. Hope you're doing well. I am. I haven't had time to stream up until today, so I was like gone for 2 weeks, but I'm back. Let's see. I saw the trailers for Obi-Wan Kenobi. He kind of acts like a wimp just from what I've seen from the trailers. That's the thing, though. He's like, he goes into the... I don't know if I want... Well, no, you came in here. Okay, I'm going to spoil it because I put spoiler warnings in the title. We're going to talk about the show. So, the thing is, that's like the whole point, is he's supposed to be off in the desert. Like, he's cowering away because, like, he's traumatized by everything that happened at the end of...
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. I was about to say I don't know what I was about to say. But yeah, Revenge of the Sith. Like, he's so traumatized that he goes into hiding in the middle of the desert. Like, that's the whole point. Is like, it's not... I mean,
he's got, like,
witty, but, like, it's...
Periods get slaughtered, and now he's like...
Yeah. He's, like, given up on, like,
he's
given up on the order. He's, like, just wanting to make sure that the kids are safe. Like, that's all that he really cares about at that point.
He's not using the Force. He's not connected to the Force like he used to be.
No, I was just wondering, if Kenobi is perhaps bisexual or something in this new show, maybe Kenobi wants to go under surgery. What in the world?
Bro, Kenobi's bisexual.
Damn.
That shit's crazy.
Y'all are so annoying with that shit. Okay, relax. Y'all see anyone who's different from you and just, like, have a fucking panic attack about it, okay? Stop being a little snowflake. Get over it. People are different. Hello, people.
I hate Marvel now.
Someone just called me white, bro.
Yeah, I'm just down to see Obi-Wan Kenobi fucking some dudes.
I mean, Pornhub exists. It probably... There has to exist out there somewhere. Wow, okay, that happened. I'm not going to delete their comments so that we can all analyze how stupid people like this are, but we'll leave it up. People like this.
What are they even saying?
He's like, I was just wondering if Kenobi is perhaps bisexual or something in the new show. Maybe Kenobi wants to go under surgery and cut his dick out and implant a vagina or something. But it's like the dude who's like, Trump is Joe's daddy. It's like, people like this are just so fucking annoying. Like, you're so obsessed with other people and how they live their lives. But, you know.
Wait, is this like an actual thing, or like what's the...
No, this guy's just being like a
dickhead. He's just making commentary of how there's more representation of people who are not just straight white people on screen
media now. Yeah. Apparently people are very triggered by that.
I mean, a lot of people were being racist to that one actress.
Dude, that shit's like the craziest shit for me. Like, these are complete fantasy worlds.
Honestly, and, like, just send him a picture of two homies kissing. That's
new, stronger, powerful, better, superior. Well, okay, now I'm deleting that comment. You're just being super annoying.
I would probably make the show better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Ahsoka's gonna be.
Turn the whole show into like another like Netflix dating show.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my god, if I see one more Netflix dating show, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm actually gonna lose my mind.
Spectrum one, I feel like is like a cool take or whatever, but it's just like, it's like the fifth new dating show in like a year. It's like,
oh. You ever have that thing where your ear just starts randomly ringing?
Yeah, it's called tendonitis.
Can you cure it?
I don't know. Go to a fucking doctor.
No. Anyway, yeah, no, my ear just did that really badly. Okay, I'm back. We're good. Sorry, like it's a moment of panic. Am I not allowed to appreciate the tone of your? I'm not. I'm not white. I'm sorry. It's known as a bait and switch, where you advertise the main character and the main character is someone else. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Just talking about the Trump shit.
If I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's no such angle. I mean, then don't watch it. That's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. No one's forcing you to. So, thank you for announcing it, I guess.
It's just crazy that like Disney had to be like, yeah, you're gonna get hate for being black for the
Mace
show came
Windu was
out.
literally in the original movies. Like, people acting like black people don't exist in Star Wars, when like Mace Windu was like a major character in the originals, like, or not the originals, but the prequels.
That's prequels,
right?
Yeah.
It was like so stupid.
I mean, but just modern day Star Wars fans and MCU fans are highly racist and homophobic. That's
Dude, it's like
racist.
it's
Right?
so
Like, all these motherfuckers are not humans. They're like supposed to be aliens, right? They just look like humans.
yeah.
So yeah, to agree, they're like they're like
And
Earth.
some of these motherfuckers, their planets are like hot climates, right?
Yeah. Then you're gonna have people with
If
you
you're
know,
like
skin.
a fucking race that comes from a hot climate, you're gonna be dark skinned because it shields you better from the sun.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
point.
just kind of how it fucking works.
I honestly don't. I think people focus on that. We had like a lot of more people of color. Like one of the quiz eaters, it's probably the age. I mean, I don't
Someone
know.
got really mad at my chat that I wasn't white, apparently.
Oh.
Well, you were a deceiver
then-
of the highest order, and I cast shame upon you. I'll leave this chat and never return. I think it's a joke, but that was kind of funny.
And then also we had a brown dude in there. No one hears about that. Like,
Yeah, I don't
Come
know.
on.
Like, no one cared about the brown dude, but I think because he was a
Yeah.
joke character, not like a serious character, so no one cares. They're like, as
But
long
it's
as
just-
we keep like all of the like the people of color as like joke characters, it's okay.
mhm.
Except for Mace Windu, apparently, which is fine. Of course.
Mace Windu was white.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hawkeye was a bait and switch. Master of the Universe was a bait and switch. The new Thor movie is going to be a bait and switch. I'm excited for the new Thor movie just because, like, I don't take the Thor movie seriously. I think they're just super fun and stupid, and I just enjoy watching them because, like, they're supposed to be fun and stupid. Like, I don't know how you can watch the trailer for the new Thor movie and be like, this is going to be, like, a good movie. No, it's going to be a fun, entertaining, like, awesome movie that you're going to just enjoy, like, the fuck out of. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Disney and Marvel has gone to so idiots that they don't even realize that Thor is not even a title. It's a name of a character. What the fuck do you think Captain America and Iron Man are?
He's trolling.
I figured, but like, at least if you're gonna troll, be a good troll. You suck at trolling, dude. Or maybe you're just not stupid. That could also be it. Are you still on the Tetris game? Ah! Okay.
I don't hear you. I've had it open.
Okay, let me move back over. So.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just stupid that a fucking you get a job and you job has to be like, oh yeah, you're gonna get fucking racism marks against you. It's just
People are just like, it's
That's
the
at the point we're
dumbest
at,
thing
like-
in my head to like care about. Like, unless it's like a historical character, I understand. But like, if it's just like a basic like, hey, this is a fantasy like sci-fi movie, and like you're mad that like there's a, I don't know. I mean, if you're that stupid, that's like your that's your life. Do whatever you want, but
stop watching it. What the fuck?
get out of
Like,
entertainment.
why are you watching anything today if you just want a certain type of people to be in it?
Yeah,
You're not gonna find that. You have decades of film and all that to go watch.
yeah. Go watch like the same thing you've been watching for 30 years if you're that mad about like people that don't look like you in film. Oh. Sometimes I wonder if people actually care that much about like brown people or like black and brown people being in movies rather than they just care about like, oh, it's because it's like for forced diversity. Like, I feel like people want a virtue signal about that issue so much of being like, oh, like they're forcing diversity and they're forcing like all of like, you know,
Because they don't understand. They don't.
it's like this whole thing
grasp,
of like
understand
they
that
don't,
it's not forced diversity now. Is that it was forced whiteness before, and that's just the thing that you're like the force Not the force, as in Star Wars force, but the force of just forcing something on screen is what we're trying to stop.
Yeah.
Stop them from forcing just white people
But I
on the
feel like
screen.
it's like such a virtue signal topic where they're like, oh, they're forcing diversity, and it's like, dude,
Yeah, but like
even if they were, who
realistically,
cares? Why does it matter? Like,
it's just a fucking shitty space movie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, right? Okay, wait, not shitty. I like it.
I mean, I don't really care.
Okay. My hot take about Star Wars is I love Star Wars, but like most of it is shitty.
I mean, that's fair. I understand it. They weren't great movies, but god damn it if we don't love them.
Yeah.
Now you take them or leave them.
There's things that, like, you grow up on and you're just in love with for the rest of your life. Like, Lord of the Rings for me. I will never, like...
Lord of the Rings, they're actually good.
Objectively good movies, yeah. But, like, it's like one of those things, like...
Not to say, like, Star Wars isn't good or anything, but it's just, like, there's a lot of shit, too.
Yeah, the story writing for Star Wars was not the same depth of story writing as there was for, like, Lord of the Rings, right? But that's, like, also what Lord of the Rings was. Like, Lord of the Rings was this, like, very deep, like, very, like... intense, like that's what Tolkien did with it, right? And like, so you had like a lot to base those movies off of, because like the depth of writing was so broad. Oh god, I can't talk and play at the same time. Jesus Christ.
The world building was so like
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
It was like, there was a lot of source material to work with.
There was a lot put into like the original like storyline making in the like books, and so you had just so much to build off when you like went to make the movies.
Yeah.
I don't even want to look at my comments. How is it that, whether I'm talking about politics, which I understand when I give my political takes because I'm an anti-lefty person, so like I can understand right-wing people coming in and like having enjoyable conversations with me, but why is it when I'm even talking about like normal stuff, I always have right-wing people jump into my chat?
Yo, I don't know why the fuck a movie about like people shooting guns in space and having laser swords need to be political.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, Star Wars is like a highly political movie, right? Like that was the whole point behind it. Like George Lucas, it was all based on like real people, like and real or like.
Sure, but like the whole thing where people like, I don't want black people in my movie about race.
Yeah.
Well, that's people. So people want to people want to be. I don't want politics in my movies or this and that. And it's the only thing political here is you not wanting it
in their movies. They love that shit.
If you think just somebody having more melanin in their skin is politics,
yeah, that's a you problem, bro.
Yeah, but as soon as people start like pointing that out, then it became political.
No, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Though. They love this shit. Like, it gives them more shit to complain about.
Yeah.
Let's see. But you know what? I think the new Top Gun Maverick movie is gonna blow this wokeism from Hollywood into oblivion. I doubt it. I don't like wokeism either, but like to act like one movie's gonna blow it out of the water, yeah, you're just dead wrong with the way the culture's going. Well, people want to make a show, they're condescending towards the audience, believing they are dumb and stupid. That's what it feels like. I had this conversation with my family the other day, because like we're all a bunch of like movie freaks and stuff like that, like nerds. But we were having this conversation where like we feel like movies these days like lack depth, because no one wants to actually like watch a movie for depth. I think I actually discussed this on stream one time too. But like people just don't watch movies like that anymore. And I don't think people have like the like, especially in America, people just the education is so bad that people don't have the understanding how to like analyze a movie like that. Like I think you have to have such a surface level movie, because like no one's gonna like sit there and like analyze a deep movie.
Can you give me an example of forced diversity in a movie? Because I don't think I've ever seen a movie with
oh, that's a good question.
A severe forced diversity.
Avatar, they got all those blue motherfuckers.
Not one white man in there. What kind of movie is that?
No, there's white men.
Oh, there are white men. Yeah.
You have all those blues.
They have all the fucking military dudes.
Out to be the villain.
Yeah.
I was really concerned that they would do the same with the Maverick character, but I guess Tom Cruise doesn't bend his back. I don't even know what we're talking. I don't even know what this movie is. I'm waiting for the day when Elon Musk takes over Twitch, man. So many people will lose their mind. I don't care. I honestly think the moderation policy on Twitch and Twitter are too hard. I don't care if people call me slurs. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I'd rather see people be like as hateful as possible online and like know who to avoid than like have to deal with people like covertly trying to act like racist in like the really weird subversive ways. I don't know. Forced diversity is weird and disjointed. Organic diversity is great. The difference is people being lazy versus people being creative. Forced multiculturalism is not good. Organic is okay. So it seems like everyone's okay. But like, how do you determine what's organic and what's not? Like, is people like being...
No, hold on. This person said forced diversity example in TV, How I Met Your Mother. Where's the forced diversity? It's just a diverse cast.
What's the cast on...
they got like I think an Asian chick and like a
and
black dude and stuff like that. But you know what's forced is having like 10
6 white people.
sitcoms on television, all with friend groups that are just primarily white. That is forced because that's not what the real world is.
There's
That's not
one
even what like
Asian girl.
America is.
This guy looks like brown, maybe like Mexican, and like maybe Latina, probably Latina, Asian. Like this looks. Tell me where the forced diversity. Like this seems like a pretty. I mean, at least my friend group looks actually kind of similar to this.
I mean, I guess it depends on you live though. Like some states
Yeah.
in the U.S. are like 96% white, so.
Yeah, but like most of these sitcoms take place in like New York and shit.
Yeah, if you're like
Yeah.
making a sitcom in New York, this actually looks probably pretty
Different
fucking
taste.
accurate. All movies are political. They just might not have the politics in it that you agree with. Yeah, pretty much.
Bro, are you telling me that fucking Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is political?
I
That's
haven't watched it. I was gonna say
crazy.
Don't Speed, but I actually don't know. I've never watched it.
Okay, Indian guy, Latina, Asian, lesbian, the main girl falls in love with the black guy. That seems natural and normal to me.
Bro,
That
are you
shit
I
happens.
don't like. What are you
that
determining
Cars
that it's like?
2 is political?
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta ask. Like, what do you think is like forced? Like, do you think they're like forced casting like these people? Like, they're like, oh, we're not like I don't know how you're
Hey, yo,
determining.
Rams,
what,
I don't like the fucking forced diversity in Cars 2. There is too many fucking Hyundais.
I don't like the forced diversity
None
in
of
this
redneck
friend group.
meters.
Okay, there's 2 brown kids. There's an Asian girl. There's 2 white guys. There's a mixed kid. Okay, my friend group is too diverse. It's forced diversity.
It's not like they have casting calls. It's like we need Asian. You know.
No, like, I kind of get what this guy's saying, but at the same time, like, who really gives a shit?
Yeah, like why does it bother you if there even if there is forced diversity? What does it matter?
Forced diversity,
It's
yeah,
well, the
like, some-
problem is that it's the false labeling of being forced diversity.
Yeah,
I
And
know
even
he's
if it is
talking
forced
about
diversity,
children,
that's
but,
not a bad thing. If it doesn't preach to you, well, fuck you. You're not the end all be all.
No,
of
but, like,
what we need to
sometimes-
focus on.
some shows they're like really like doing too much with it. Like they'll have like, I don't know, like you know when it's not natural.
Which is fine, but even if it's-
in
even if it's
Avengers, when
not-
the scene where they had all like just the women superheroes in one scene, that is forced, right?
Yeah.
But that is one of few examples that you can pull out.
and my
Yeah,
my
no,
thing,
I-
my
It
thing,
isn't forced.
I think
be
for the
fair-
vast
That's over
majority,
movie.
it isn't.
even for
Yeah.
me, it's like even if it's forced, like who cares? Does it bother you? Like, does it like matter if it's forced or not? Like, if this
Oh, it
if
does.
if-
It does. It bothers them like a motherfucker, and I
If it
love
sh-
it that it bothers them.
Even
It
if,
should
well,
bother
it's not
them.
even that, but like as long as like the show is still good, like even if they force the diversity, like they specifically cast certain people because they want like a more diverse cast, as long as the show still turns out good, does it really matter at that point? Like I don't think so. It would be forced.
Hey,
if we
yo,
were-
y'all want to talk about forced diversity? Why was there so fucking many white people in Ghost in the Shell?
That's forced. That is forcing
Ain't that
white.
shit supposed to be in Japan?
True.
And there's way more examples
There ain't
of
that
them
many.
forcing
there-
white people
all
than
I'm
there
gonna
is
say is
diversity.
there ain't that many
That's
like
probably true,
non-Japanese
actually, yeah.
people in Japan. So
Yeah.
only so many. in
Fucking
there.
Tom Cruise was in The Last Samurai. Like what?
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. It'd be forced if you were in Kansas and not everything you want. Yeah, exactly. But like some of these shows take place in New York and people are mad about diverse cast. I just want to talk about plot. There's the show Friends, a forced diversity, and still poked fun to this day for it. Wait, how does Friends have forced diversity? Because the 2
I mean,
Jewish
to be fair,
characters.
Friends just is kind of a bad show, anyways.
Yeah, it's
so.
a bad show, but it has like 2 Jewish characters. Is that like your idea of diversity? Let's see.
Oh,
See,
bro.
I am
If
Indian.
we're gonna go into a whole thing about the ruling Jewish class, like some
Oh,
sort of
no.
conspiracy theory, I'm
Let's not
ready
get
for
into
it.
that one. Let's not do that one. See, I'm an Indian from India, and now I really don't give a shit if Indians are not represented in Hollywood at all. Even though there are many Indians in USA Today, unless Hollywood represents Indians all the time as the butt end of a joke or in some. That's the thing. Is like like Hollywood is constantly the way that people present Indians in like Hollywood media is terrible. Like our representation has been trashed for years up until like maybe the last like 4, and now we've finally gotten some decent characters. But like for most of the time, like they were like butt end characters, like butt end of the joke characters, right?
Yeah.
And second of all, you're in India, right? You're gonna see your representation all the time. For like me and Rams are both Indian as well, but we grew up in Canada.
What's that movie? That one where they get high and go to White Castle.
Harold and Kumar go to
I
White
think
Castle.
that's a good Indian representation.
There you go.
Because
like-
it's not
Harold
really
Kumar did
aiming-
more for the Asian population
That's what
than
I'm
Andrew
saying.
Yang or any of the motherfuckers. That's where we got it. To the point of the dude who was like, I was just putting an example of diversity. I'm not asking for an example of diversity. I'm asking for an example of forced diversity. Two separate things.
Yeah, I actually do not have a problem with diverse cast. Yeah. We were just asking about like the forced diversity part because like everyone was like
no
harping
hate
on,
to
like,
you, but
Yeah.
for you saying that after I asked for forced diversity is like them being like, we need a cast of Asians and Black people and Latino people and stuff like that, which I don't think is the case. I think they just put a casting call out. Whoever shows up. They pick someone. They don't care if they're white or not, and that's the part we're trying to like change. Of like, it shouldn't matter if they're white or not. Where back, like, you know how Hollywood has been is like, oh, go find a white person to be in center because that's what sells.
Yeah, but just to go back to the Trump is Joe's daddy comment, like for us, it's like we're Indian and like living in Canada and like living in North America. It's like you don't see that. Like in India, you're gonna see a lot of your own representation because you're around that. Your media sells that. For us, it's like we grew up with like white TV shows, American Hollywood TV shows, and we don't see ourselves represented in media. Like you kind of like want that image of yourself that you can like reflect back at yourself in media. I think that's like an important thing for most people because the media is such a big part of our culture and part of our life that like I think having like a representation of yourself that's good, that's like viewable to you at like throughout your life, I think is probably pretty important to most people. Ghost in the Shell, people are upset of how ignorant they are about the series. Major, because is a brain in a robotic body. She's whatever race she picks to be. I don't know who that is.
To start with the main character, it's listen. If you're trying to justify them putting Scarlett Johansson as the main character for Ghost in the Shell, you're not aware of what the problem actually is.
Oh, was that the person Scarlett played?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had never watched it or the original like show, so I wouldn't know. Let's see. Our problem is when they adapt characters from books or comics and completely change them, whitewashing them too, of course. Yeah, I think that's like most people's problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if you're doing historical films.
It's one thing. No,
Hold
but
on,
it's one thing to change them to a white person. It's one thing to change them to like, some other character.
Yeah.
Because it's not a fight against white characters or anything, but it's a fight to make things more diverse.
No,
right?
I think even if you're gonna make like a show, like if you were making like that show, the Ghost Shell one, I think you probably should use like a character like that it was represented in that show. And it's the same thing with like historical stuff. It's like they were doing, I forget what it was. I think it was a period piece, and they like cast a black woman as one of like the queens, and it was like, this is like a historical figure, like this is a real person.
But that's the thing.
Right?
It needs to,
so like I don't
to
agree
make
with that,
sense
but like
character.
when you have like if you have like a storyline where like a person was like a specific way and it made sense to the storyline, like if you have like Death Note, right? Death Note originally took place in Japan. That was the whole point of the series. But when they made the Netflix version that was shit, they like changed all of it. Like all the characters were white except for like the L guy, which was black, and I was like, okay, you still didn't have a Japanese character,
right. Which doesn't
like,
make sense. But
like I wouldn't even accept, like I didn't even like having the black guy play L because it was like, these are Japanese characters, they're supposed to be Japanese, right? So to change that felt really weird.
But take like
hold
Captain
on,
America,
one more
Steve
thing.
Rogers, right?
I just want to say, America's version of diversity is having like one or two black characters, and then that's your diversity. To be fair, that's the other thing I have like a big problem with like Hollywood's diversity casting is always like, we're gonna throw like one light skin and one dark skin guy in there, and then like you're done. That's it. Like up until recently, Asian and like Indian people or like South Asian, like Middle Eastern, like brown people from like Asia and East Asians were super underrepresented, completely.
The thing about the race changing and everything, if you take a character like Steve Rogers, Captain America, you can't change his race. Because his whole story and everything is about, it deals with him being white. And that time. And it's the same thing about like the period piece that you were talking about, right? Mm-hmm. But like the new Batman movie, right? Catwoman and Jim Gordon are black. And it didn't change much of the character, if anything. So they can do that. They can get away with that. And that like, it doesn't take away from the characters or anything. Mm-hmm. So something like that I see it being okay with.
Yeah.
When it has nothing to do with, like, if a race doesn't have to do anything with the character, yeah, you can swap it out. It gets backlash when you swap out a character for that is some color or whatever, and then you change it to a white person, because we see white people all the time.
I think
and
it's like
this role that could have went to a person of a different race who probably doesn't get as many roles because of their race.
Yeah.
This was an opportunity to give to that person, and we were taking those opportunities away.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Anybody in like Hollywood or anything would tell you that like if you're of a different race, you're less likely to get certain roles than if you're a white person.
Yeah. I just want to go through a few more of these comments. For example, there's a show about Troy. It's a Netflix, I guess. Now Achilles in the show is black. See, but the thing is, like, again, like, that one's a little bit hard because, like, mythology, and I feel like it's a little bit weird. But, like, even so, that one, it's, like, not integral to, like, I used to watch plays a lot, like, live-action plays and stuff. And I went on a trip, and, like, we were watching, like, Greek myth plays. And, like, the actors they casted for, like, the plays and stuff, like, were never, like, just white because, like, I mean, you have, like, more limited people to pick from. But to me, it doesn't really matter that much because it's not, like, integral to the character to be white. Even if they're, like, Greek gods. Like, they're Greek gods. Like, we don't even know if they were all white, right, at that point. So to me, it doesn't really matter. But, like, when you're talking about historical figures or, like, something that's integral to, like, a plot line, it makes a little bit more sense to, like, cast based on, like, you would never cast Abraham Lincoln as, like, a black dude because it just wouldn't make sense, right? And it's, like, I think this goes the same way for anything else. Like, people also pretend know about cultures they know nothing about. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but that's just general life true because people don't know shit. People are stupid. Anyways, Ghost in the Shell movie was absolute trash. ScarJo was the least of the movie's problem. I never watched it. I already said that, but Rams was talking about it. So then, what is everyone's opinion on Little Mermaid live action? See, again, it's like one of those characters. Like, I guess like originally it was supposed to be like, but I don't know if I really care if that one like, because she's a really good actor. Like,
your character that needs to be white.
She's also like a. People also did like the.
She's also a mermaid.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like I don't know if it's gonna like change the storyline so much that she's like played by a black person.
It won't at all.
She's also got an amazing voice for like a Disney song, so I'm like, fine. Yeah. I'm so excited to hear her sing Disney songs because she's got that like got this soft voice that would be so good for like Disney music. But again, like I feel like there's like times, and it's also I used to disagree with that. And I still somewhat disagree with it, but I think there's like a difference between changing like a traditionally white character to like a different race versus changing a different. And Rams already kind of touched on this of like taking like a person of color character and changing them to white because it's like we already see a lot of white roles in like Hollywood. Like, do we really need to take like an already diverse role and like change it to white instead of like taking like?
And to answer the question, yes, it is okay to change to a POC way more than it is to change to a white person. And if you don't understand
way
that,
more, but I would say it's probably a little bit more acceptable. I would be like a little bit scaled back on
to the
that,
world more.
I don't know if I completely agree with it, but like I feel like it's like a sliding scale. Like this is like a little bit more okay than this.
Because the thing is also like when you talk about a lot of like adaptations or reboots or stuff like that, right? It's like they change a lot of stuff and nobody complains about it until it's race, and then people want to complain about it. When it's like when you're gonna adapt something for the modern day, you're gonna change things for the modern day, whether it be technology or this or that, right? You know, if it's a movie from the 90s and you're making a 2022 version of it, there's different technology. You can see different cars. So all this stuff is gonna be different. No one's gonna give a fuck about that. But as soon as they have a more diverse cast, because we're more open to a diverse cast now, then someone has a problem.
People are losing their shit,
and that's fucked up.
To me, it's like the only reason it's different is because like for so long we also had like people of color like characters changed to white characters and like no one gave a shit, and then as soon as they had like Black Little Mermaid, people lost their fucking minds. And it's like I agree, I don't think either is acceptable to do, and I don't think we should be doing either, but I think like again, like for me it's like if you had like a random character in a book who like wasn't really like who was like ambiguous and people thought they were black and you made them white, I don't really care about that. But then like when you go into like historical figures or like characters like specifically, again Death Note was my big example. They made it like Americanized Death Note, and they like there was no Japanese characters in it. Yeah. To me, that was like so fucking bullshit. That was stupid because it's like these characters were like traditionally Japanese. Being Japanese was like and being in Japan was like a big part of that storyline. So to change it felt like really stupid. And they also just bombed that show, but that's a whole other issue.
How is it how is it BS when one is opening up opportunities for a group of people versus the other isn't? If we change a character to be white, it's not opening up like a big opportunity for white actors because there's so many opportunities for white actors. But if you change a character to be Asian or black or Latino, like then we're having a new opportunity for those kind of those actors, which is huge because they don't have that many opportunities to begin with.
Yeah, I think
that's
like
the difference. And if you don't understand that, you just don't understand the situation.
To me, I like have a little bit like I have a like for me it's like about consistency, and I apply these standards like kind of across the board, and I wouldn't want it to do it either way. But if we've already made it socially acceptable to like for white people to take like people of color's roles, then I think it's fine if like we change some like white characters to like people of color. I don't think it's, to me, I also agree though, make a new Asian character. I hate when they just take old characters and change them to like people of color. Just make a new, like they're doing the James Bond thing and people are like,
certain times you can't really do it. Like in the
no,
Batman
I
movie,
think we
right?
should
You
just
need
make
a
new
Jim
story.
Gordon and you need a Catwoman, right?
Yeah.
And making that cast is more diverse,
Make
compared to
new
what
stories.
it was
Why do you have to do it
when
in
those characters
Batman?
were first coming out, and
Yeah,
white
just
was
make
the
new
thing.
fucking movies.
That's what it is. It's not like we're trying to like make it like force diversity. It's just if when you're taking things that were made so long ago where white was all it was, and then you're making it diverse, we're just catching up with the times. Whereas,
I don't know. I would just rather make new
this shit was
characters that are
made
like
when
centered.
racism was at all a lot higher than it is right now, and it was white at the front, white this, white that, and now we're in 2022 where things are different.
I don't know. My thing is like I don't. Okay, yeah. Also, stop making remakes of old stuff. I'm bored of it. But also, yeah, like I want like characters who like center around like like if you're gonna make a brown character, make a brown character. Don't just like adapt some old character and give him the same storyline. I'm like, because like if like when they were talking about James Bond and like giving it to I think it was Idris Elba who was taking over next. But I'm like, why? Like, to me, it makes no sense. Make a cool new like spy movie with Idris Elba.
See, okay, that I don't because James Bond is a legacy character that gets great. No, because here's the thing, okay? It's been 50 years of James Bond, right? So we're gonna keep getting Bond movies, and now that there is a Bond that is black, people are all up in arms.
I would
it's
be
like now
fine.
it's acceptable to have a black Bond.
Hold on.
Before it wasn't. That's why they
No,
never had
I
it.
would be
But James
okay.
Bond never was connected to being white.
I think his class and his prestige had a little bit to do with being white. You could argue that, but
In those
on.
time periods,
No,
but not today.
I wanna-
'Cause every James Bond movie is made for today, right? Daniel Craig's Bond was made during the time that was being filmed.
I want to.
So if we're having a James Bond 2022,
I
that
would
James
be
Bond doesn't matter
okay.
if it's white or
I
not.
would be okay if they were doing a new 007 movie. If they gave him the title of 007. But if they make him James Bond, that feels weird to me.
Why?
Because I just think like if you're gonna like take like because I'm a
They,
consistent person. Okay, I don't
they've
want.
changed James Bond so many times, and now that he's a black person, now it's different. That's ridiculous. Because that's what James Bond is. That's that character. It's 50 years of this character that's been through multiple actors, right? It doesn't matter who is James Bond.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Right?
like
If you got the charisma,
I'm
and
back and forth on this. It's hard for me to take a hard stance because like
I will say the James Bond thing that's a bad example because that is James Bond's whole legacy, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just want okay. Let's go back to the call. It's a USA thing primarily. They somehow suffer from the burden that they have to know and represent every culture and civilization. Okay, first of all, when you're a melting pot country, yeah, you're gonna have to represent the people who are in your fucking country. You dumb fuck. Sorry, I'm getting heated now. But also, it's not like the U.S. was originally a white nation. It wasn't. The U.S. was never like white to begin with. It was like it was colonized to become white, but it's not like it was a white nation. So it's like not even saying like, oh, they have to represent other people. It's like, no, you should probably just, you're a melting pot. Like this is like, that is your country is like filled with diverse people. You should probably represent that on screen as well. And they go on representing their civilization and culture and represent it completely wrong and sometimes to the extent offensive. Stop that. We don't need to save U.S. to save mankind. Stick to your country and let the rest of the world grow organically. But that's the thing.
That's
the
like
U.S.
that's like saying going back to your country. So everybody stick to their country. That's the same sentiment.
No, I don't even care about that. Like, if you want to say that's fine. But like, I think like for me, it's like U.S. is already a melting pot. Like, there's already people like from all different cultures in there. It's not like you're like trying to preserve anything. Like, it's already. There's nothing to preserve.
Realistic. It's nothing
USA
realistic about
culture,
an
but there's
entire
nothing
movie
like
of just white people
inherently
in it.
There's nothing
In New
inherently
York.
about. There's nothing about inherently being white that like goes along with the USA. So like to say like, oh, like they don't have to represent everyone. Like no, like your country isn't just white. That's so stupid. The world
and if you want to say that, it's more than just race. Because if you want to say, oh, the U.S. should just represent U.S., everybody's fine when the U.S. represents a white person that isn't like American, right? If it's like something else, or blah blah blah. But it's specifically when it's race that makes it an issue, and that's what it is. Like, oh, there's a lot of bigotry to this, to why people don't like, a different race being in the movies or stuff like that.
There's more things which I find weird. This is also started in the USA and the whole world got contaminated in the whole... Wait. Asian, and who is Asian? I'm from India, and I don't look anything like what they usually mean when they say Asian, but India is not Asia, and I'm not Asian. Is Russia not an Asian? The Russians are not Asian. Isn't Russia technically part of Europe? When we say Asian,
India is in Asia.
yeah, India is
Um,
in Asia.
I think it's on the same tectonic plate or something as Asia.
Yeah.
So technically, it's like you can drive from
connected to
China to
both,
Russia
yeah.
technically.
But can you also drive from Russia to the rest of Europe?
Yeah.
Like, it's all connected.
Well, technically, it's Eurasia.
To the
Oh, okay,
whole,
there you
I'm
go.
Indian, but not what they
To
think.
be fair,
That's a
when we
whole
talk about,
different thing.
like, it's also,
Yeah.
like, Russian people are, like, physiologically, like, more similar to white people. So, like, if you see a person on TV, like, you're gonna, like, if you're Russian, you might see someone who looks more, like, akin to you. Whereas, like,
Honestly,
yeah.
I think the whole like Asian thing is just sort of like how you call a frisbee a frisbee. That's just one brand, right? But like because people associate that word with
Yeah.
that thing, that's just how it is, right? Like obviously India is part of Asia as well,
Yeah.
but people don't associate Indians with like being Asian. When you say Asian, people think like Chinese, Japanese, like
Yeah.
that, right? People
It
think
is
someone who looks a certain way, so I think it's just sort of how the word has been associated.
it's a whole thing. Because like we're, I mean, I think May is still Asian American, not and Pacific Islander month or whatever, but it's not for us. That's not for us, right?
Yeah.
Like, and if you hear anybody talk about it, it's like very little people would consider like South Asia as a part of that.
Yeah. No idea of race changing Superman. No, it's a waste. I want more about Steel. Steel is originally black. I want. Yeah. See, like if they took like characters who like already existed and gave them storylines, like I think Marvel's doing that now with like the I forgot her name. She's the Muslim.
Superhero is a whole different thing. Because if you want to try to bring up
Yeah, but that's what
superheroes,
we're talking about. It's like there's lots of
superheroes
characters.
constantly change throughout the years to adapt to the modern
But
day.
there's
So
like
a superhero changing race makes more sense than you would think.
I mean,
Unless
that's fine,
it's like
but
a
like when
Steve
you
Rogers
have,
or Captain America,
but it's like
whose,
okay,
whose
Spider,
entire story has to be deal with being white.
which is it's fine, but like when we had like Spider-Man, right? Like you had the into the what was it called? The what was the comic book one?
Into the
Into
Spider.
Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse. I was about
Yeah.
to say Into the Multiverse, and I was like, that's not right. But yeah, like you had Into the Spider-Verse, which was really cool, and you had like a black Spider-Man, but it wasn't like Spider-Man Spider. It wasn't our Peter Parker.
It wasn't Peter Parker, yeah.
Right? And I think that was the cool part. And so like again, you have like all these other characters that you can play on, and you don't need to necessarily just race swap a bunch of characters that already exist.
Don't need to do it, but for people to be so mad about it when it does happen is ridiculous because they're like, "Oh, this comic book character, what isn't this?" And that argument is so stupid because comic book characters change dramatically over time. all
Yeah,
the
comic
time,
book characters
right?
are different, like the case,
Yeah.
right? I can agree with that.
A
But
lot
like,
of people have a problem with they're having a problem with
my
Marvel. That's
overall
what
thing is
most
people are
of
too
it's
attached to the
happening,
race
and
of
it doesn't
like,
fucking matter. It's like comic book characters, every 10 years DC is rebooting itself.
yeah. I think also the reason that like like you might feel differently about it when it comes to like race swapping like one way versus the other is like when you race swap a white person to a person of color, it's like there might be a reasoning for it. Like you might want to give like more diverse acting. You might want to like represent new people on screen, which is cool. But like if you swap a person of color to white, like what was the reason for it? Like is there really any reason to ever do that? I don't know.
Well, but you gotta because people forget about like the real world consequences of it, right? If you want to talk about just how it fits within the context of those fantasy worlds, or whatever, that's one thing. But the real world consequences of it is swapping out a person of color character with a white person. You're taking those roles away from people of color who need it more than the white person.
Yeah.
The real world consequences is what makes it like acceptable or not, right?
But I think like
If you
okay,
want to say,
I will
it should be
argue
white
against.
people can swap
No,
this
I'll
and that
argue
and
against
that,
this.
you just don't understand the situation well enough.
I'll argue against
Be
it
like,
slightly because
there
I don't
is,
think people
a
don't
history of racism.
people don't feel like individual experiences as a class, right? Like no white person who misses out on an opportunity like for an acting gig is gonna feel that as like, oh well, I'm a white person, so like I feel like that. No, they feel like okay, I got fucked, like I lost that like job, which sucks, right? No one feels like their class and individual experiences, which I think is like kind of like the difference in that sense. But I don't know. I'm like a little bit like split on this issue. I don't really know how to.
Okay, if you think that a person of color does no, to apply to this comment, if you think that person of color doesn't need more opportunity than white people, you're fucking stupid. It's plain and simple.
No, again, I disagree with this because people don't feel their class and individual experiences, Rams.
What do you mean?
Like, if you go into a job to get hired for a job, right? A white person and a black person walk into that place, right? And they hire the black person, like, for whatever reason. you don't feel that like, oh, well, I'm glad they got it because, I'm a white person, they're a black person, they needed it more. No one feels that in the real world. You don't feel like individual experiences as a class. You're like, you know what? It sucks that I missed out on a job. I really need that job. And like, doesn't matter if you're white or black. It's like one of those things like you miss out on a
But
job.
it's
But,
it's
like,
not okay. It's not a
no
conscious
one
thing
feels
of
that as a
making.
class.
It's not a conscious thing of giving these like a person of color more jobs. But it's just like we don't need to take away jobs from them.
I mean, yeah, that's fair, but I'm saying like it's one of those things. So like it's weird to say like, oh, like the person of color needs it more. Like I kind of half agree with the commenter of saying like everyone needs jobs, and I don't know if I like the slighting of like,
Everybody does, right? But we're not gonna ignore the fact that people of color get lost opportunities in
yeah,
these
I would
fields.
agree with that. It's a hard thing like to.
So when you're
toe the
taking
line
it, when you have a group of people who have less opportunities, and here's an opportunity for them, and then you're taking that away, it's fucking backwards,
Yeah.
right? Compared to say there's a white character, and now they cast a person of color. Not that they wanted to go and cast a person of color, but a person of color came to that role with the best qualification for that role, and then they picked them. That's not taking away from white actors and everything, because there is like a million and one more jobs for them.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. 'Cause I don't know. I
The
don't
whole
think we're ever
making
gonna
movies
agree
thing
on
is like a whole other problem with Hollywood. Hollywood's not going to do that because nostalgia and everything. That's what sells,
Yeah.
right?
Most
And if
people.
Hollywood goes to the whole make new movies thing, yeah, it would probably be better. But like, it's like
Sorry.
the likelihood of that just happening is like, they're gonna keep doing all
Oh.
this, new Chip and Dale, new superheroes and stuff like that.
This comment was kind of funny to me. Where did it go? Most people who complain about racism haven't met someone who's genuinely racist. Racist people are scary and they will not listen to you, and you can't change their mind. I hardcore. There's like racist people who like you'll meet and they're like fine to your face. I don't know if anyone watched the Gideon video or Gideon. I forget his name. Whatever. He did a video last week where he went to like the most racist town in like America. And he talked to like people who were like blatantly super racist, and they were super nice to his face. Like these people won't be like violent towards you like up front, but like you can meet racist people and they're not like the worst like scary terrifying people, but they're just like they hold racist beliefs. I trust me, okay? Me and Rams are both brown. We've had racist encounters. It happens, right? Let's see. And let me go through these comments really quick. It's not fine that U.S. represents other culture and just does a shitty job. I mean, yeah, you don't want anyone to do it. They fuck up Europe every time they make a movie. Same with the rest of the world. Russia has a humongous part in Asia, though. I mean, it's like half Europe, half Asia, right? It's not like... And also, like, when we talk about, like, ethnic minorities, like, Russia isn't, like, an ethnic minority when it comes to, like, representation on screen. Because Russians are more akin to, like, a white person from the rest of Europe in terms of, like, looks. I mean, I guess, like, maybe if you go to, like, really far East Russia, you might get people who look... But again, like, then we would count you as Asian, right? Like, it's usually about, like, your physical features more than anything. Like, can you be...
Yeah, like most people
as...
would say, like, someone who's from Kazakhstan looks Asian.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things, and then we would consider you Asian because most people like determine race more on like basis of like your actual like physical features. The world is known for outsiders coming to the in and conquering. It's not exclusive to the U.S. People who act like no one's saying it's exclusive to the U.S., but when it's like such recent history and like U.S. is like because people act like U.S. is a white country. It's not. It was a Native American country. White people came in and took it over, but then it became a melting pot of like a bunch of different people. It's not exclusively white. So like to act like US is a white country or it has a white culture, it doesn't. It has a USA culture, but it's not like, I don't know, people act as if US has to be like stay white. It was never white to begin with. And to act like it has to stay white, like no, it's a melting pot country. I'm sorry, like anyone who disagrees with that at that point is stupid. Yeah, I would... At this point, I would rather have USA representing USA culture and the culture of someone. Yeah.
Again, USA culture is that multicultural culture.
No one has a
That's
problem
what
with
makes
how
USA
Russians are
USA.
represented in American movies for 40 years. I mean, I also don't like the way that they're represented, but like it's also one of those things that like A, it's a political thing, and B, again, like a Russian person will watch Hollywood movies and see someone who looks like them just because they're not the exact same ethnicity as you. It's like when I see like a brown person from like South, like I watched Bridgerton recently, and the main character on the new Bridgerton season, she was like a South Asian, but she was from like the south of India. But I still like related to seeing a character who was like from my country, even though like she's from like a different part of India from me completely. And like, right? But like, it's still seeing like someone who represents you on the screen. And it's I think the same thing for someone who's like Russian growing up in the States is like you see like people who kind of like look like you'd still see representation of your like someone
The
who
new
looks like
Doctor
you.
Strange movie had an extra who was the guy in a turban, and that was when that scene happened. That was the only thing I focused on. I don't remember why I was having that scene. It was just, oh, there's a scene right there.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different for other cultures to see
Mexico.
them represented on screen. It's so different than white white person seeing another white person, because like that's what you see all the time, right?
Yeah. Mexico is colonized land. Japan is colonized land, and there are indigenous people there. I mean, indigenous people in Mexico still exist there, but we also know that, like, we recognize Mexico is also colonized. I don't know who's saying otherwise, but we also understand that because there's a lot of indigenous people still in Mexico.
Lots of places everywhere were colonized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about this, it's like no one's denying that any other place wasn't colonized. But when you're talking about America, like specifically, America was like colonized and then became a melting pot. It wasn't like it was like colonized and then like a white country for like 500 years. It was like colonized and then like pretty quick became like a melting pot of different cultures or different peoples. Japanese indigenous people are on the brink of extinction. And also the reason we don't like pay attention to that stuff is like we're not there. I'm not in Japan. I'm in Canada. I'm in America. Like, I mean, as shitty it is, you're always going to pay attention to like the news like directly in front of you more than like anywhere else in the world. Like, I'm not paying attention to every like major issue that happens in Africa or Asia or Japan because
Or
I'm
even
not
as
there.
in Canadians, like even like a lot of American news comes and goes real quick more than they would in America.
You can't watch every news story at the same time. Like, you can't watch
Yeah.
the whole world at the same time. So to act like, oh, well, you don't care about this issue that's happening like halfway across the world. It's like, yeah, why the fuck would I? Like, do you expect me to know everything that's happening in the entire world all at once? Yeah, hold on. Again, South America I also recognize was colonized, but it's one of those things where it's there's still a lot of to be fair, South America has a decent amount of, other than Argentina has like a decent amount of its like original population too. You lose a decent chunk of the ethnic experience when you race swap. That's actually my bigger problem with race swapping. I don't like that, like, there's like, again, like James Bond's character. I don't know if you can have James Bond that's like black without having like the ethnic experience, but then it's not really James Bond's character because like his whole thing was he was like really rich, like, you know, prestigious dude. He probably didn't deal with that shit.
Well, no, not rich. He was just a really good agent. He was the best at what he does, right? And there's nothing about that has
like,
race
my
to do
thing
with
is like
it.
sometimes when like I feel like if you had a character like that as James Bond, people would get really mad that you didn't focus on like his ethnic experience. Like, I don't know.
But that's the fucked up where you have to have a person of color and then go deep into their, like, I don't want to see a brown dude
agree,
and
but
then
there
go
are people
straight
who-
up into his like home life and everything.
I
Just
agree,
having
but there's people who are
having
gonna get mad at
a
that.
brown dude in that scene that is just doing normal everyday stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is enough because that's what we do.
I
We're not all
completely agree.
Indian all the time or do the blah, blah. I'm not fucking around here throwing color and shit like it's just you know.
I completely
It's-
agree.
it's-
I'm just saying there are people who are gonna have that complaint.
Yeah, and with the whole James Bond thing, again, I will say for the James Bond thing, they fucking trade their actor every like 10 years or whatever. So it doesn't matter. So if we get a black James Bond and people, ooh, this doesn't feel like James Bond, I'm sorry to say it, that's kind of fucked up. That is just because what is the difference between Idris Elba being James Bond and a white person being James Bond? There is no difference. It is a fictional character who gets changed every like 10 years or so.
So
It's
for
been
you,
around
it's,
for
it's
50
like
years.
so for you, it's like literally just about the outcomes that like you're taking away jobs from like
It's
people of
lit-
color.
Huh?
So it's
For me,
just,
yeah. For me, it's literally.
But that's my thing, is, like,
Here's
why
an
would we
industry
not just
who has
make-
been disadvantaged to certain groups, and now it's like
my, like,
here are
fellow
certain
cities.
things that we can do to like leverage them back into the playing field, and people are being mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but then at my point would be just like make more rules for people of color rather than just race swapping like everything.
You can, but again, that's like a whole other thing to Hollywood. Hollywood does not want to make new shit all the time. They're focusing on nostalgia and rebooting and everything because that's what sells and that's what people want to watch. If we were like, oh, just make new shit, A24 films would do way more than what they're doing, right?
Yeah. I don't
We
know.
had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and we had Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once was a much better movie. What sold more? What made more money? Doctor Strange. Why? It's MCU. It's nostalgia. There's shit to pull out here. Better story, better acting, better everything. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
With a diverse cast, right? A bunch of Asian people, new movie, new concept, new characters. What sold more? Doctor Strange. So what is Hollywood keep making? More shit like Doctor Strange. So the whole thing, oh, just make new movies, it's not how it works. That's not because it's still a business at the end of the day, and they're still gonna want to make movies.
I have a
So
question for you.
money.
Wait,
so
going
if you
by this
want to be
logic,
like, if you want to be like, make more movies, go fucking watch Nowhere or Everything Everywhere All at Once 10 times, so it fucking has them, and it puts out that image of like, yeah, we fuck with these kind of movies. People don't.
I mean, hasn't that movie done really well?
For like an A24 movie, yeah, but like, compared to Doctor Strange, right? I'm not saying they didn't do well, right?
Yeah.
But what did better? So what are they going to keep doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If you
like
can
I
just
said,
put
I'm
out
not like.
an MCU movie and make 200, 300 mil right off the bat, like, well, yeah, fuck it. Let's keep doing that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like semi-split on this decision, but I think that's just me. Let's see. Poor people have it.
And I will say, like, with the whole like race stuff and like being more diverse, I will say there is a not a burden, but like a something that people of color need to understand is that, like, if you want this, you need to fucking support it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we just don't fucking support it. Like, Dev Patel is putting his ass out over here.
To be
And
fair, deep movies
we're
like the
never
ones
talking
Dave
about
Patel is making is not like the things that's like super selling right now either, though.
The last movie isn't, but before that, he was doing great films that, like, if you're like an indie person or like someone like us, that should have been on your radar and you should have
It
watched.
was, but that's the thing. Is like people like us watch them, but those aren't the movies that do huge
No.
numbers.
Me and you probably watched them. People like us didn't watch it.
People
Like
like who?
brown people, South Asian people, not a lot of them watched it. Wherever
But that's what I'm
comes
saying
out.
is like they're not the type of movies that do well in theaters because most people don't go to the
No,
theater.
no, no,
to watch
no, no, no. It's not that it's that we don't care that much. So a lot of people just never care to like look at that shit.
Because most people don't base their like movie watching styles like unless like you're like really politically involved. No one's gonna watch it based on like there being a brown character. Most people are like,
Yeah.
oh, that looks like a fun fucking movie. I'm gonna go watch that because cars are blowing
Because most
up.
people are gonna want to watch what is nostalgic or what they are already attached to.
Or what looks really fucking fun. Like there's stupid movies that come
Yeah,
out and
big
like
budget
people,
shit. Yeah.
right? Like that's the thing is like people will watch like so like yeah sure make a few stupid movies with like brown characters at the front because like they'll be fun and they'll do well in the office like. It's just like when you make really deep movies, like to expect them to do like major numbers as stuff that's either nostalgic or just crazy, like fucking something like Tokyo Drift or whatever, like those type of movies, like I don't know.
Bro, Tokyo Drift had Asian characters.
Well, yeah, okay, I was just making a yeah. I just mean like movies like that do really well because people love to like just
Bro,
like
the most whack thing about Tokyo Drift was that they put an SR20 in a Mustang.
Okay, to the comment of just make a new Asian that is black. Why does it matter if he's black or white to you? Why is it? Oh, he's black now. Okay, that's lazy. Because no one said it was lazy when Daniel Craig took up the role. Oh, they're doing this character again. They're lazy for producing character again.
oh,
but
to
now
be
he's
fair, I
black.
do say that. I hate.
See, that's fair. That's fucking fair. If they keep doing the character and still making him white is fucking lazy too. Just
No,
because
I
he's
just
black
think
now doesn't make it lazy.
to
You're
remake
just
the same
fucking
movie
stupid
over and
then.
over remake the same movie over and over and over to me is like the lazy part of it because no one's making new stories anymore and that's like the bothersome part.
Yeah, that in itself is a valid point. But to be like, oh, now it's a different race, now it's lazy, that's stupid.
I don't know. I just don't care for race swaps in general.
No, but like the people, because people always say I don't care for race swaps, and I'm not saying that this is what you're saying, but people always like I don't care about race swap until there is a race swap, and then they care. Oh, why did they race swap? I don't care for them. I just should have put it away. You fucking care then. If you're like, oh, like
Yeah, I
this
think people
person should have
get
been
way
black, or
too.
this
I
is
think
like, you care about
people
race
get
swaps.
way too sensitive over it. I will agree with you there. I think people like I sincerely probably in my like own personal life I don't give a shit like. But to me, like obviously you have to talk about the politics like behind race swapping, right?
Yeah.
But like in my
And
personal life, if like people switch, I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit.
And someone here
As
said,
long as the
"Oh,
acting is good, I don't
the
care."
creator or whatever of this character that doesn't want to do race, that's fair and that's valid, right? But a lot of people say that about like the MCU and shit. And it's like Marvel owns the Marvel characters, and if they race swap it, they're the fucking they have the copyright for those characters. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. There was no offense to the creator, because like everybody who goes works for fucking Marvel and shit know that the whatever character they create, they don't even have the right to. Fucking Stanley doesn't have a right to any of those characters
Yeah.
when he was alive, right? So it's like if Marvel wants to make fucking the next
To be fair,
Iron Man
even
black
Stanley
or
would
whatever,
probably
that's
agree.
all on them, and
Yeah.
that's fucking valid as fuck.
I mean, yeah, but you can like say something for like the artist who made the original content too. I guess I don't know.
But who has the right? Like people know like when you go and you work for Marvel and DC,
Yeah,
you
you
don't
sell
have
your shit,
jack
right?
shit. You don't have, yeah, you're making it for those people. It's the same thing as like commissioning someone to make a logo for your company. That person doesn't get, I don't want my logo to be used here and there. No, you got commissioned, you got paid, you gave it to them. Now they can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
So there's a problem with that. When you're at the upper echelons, you are taking away from a white person. There are probably very few MC roles, so you can't just say they have. Well, I think what we're talking about is like people like who would be taking like some of the roles. Like if you're at those upper echelons, like you probably like if there's like other people going for those roles who probably have less opportunities in the industry because there's less black people being casted in the industry than white people being like if you go out for a casting job in a day, right, there might be 100 roles that are being like you could apply for that like are white characters, and there might be like 10 that are black characters, right? So then if you apply for one of the ones that are black characters and that gets casted as a white character, well then like all of a sudden there's 101 white characters and like 9 black characters. Does that make sense? Does that make more sense of how to explain it? And that's legitimately what it is like in Hollywood. Like, let's be honest. To act like it isn't like that in movies and like in media in general, you'd be stupid to say something like that.
There's very few MCU roles, but there is a lot of roles in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, yeah, we're not just talking about MCU. This is just an example, but like, you're like, oh, there's only place for
if you
jobs.
do look at like just the MCU, like yeah, more than half of those characters are white, right? The original 4 Avengers, all white. Oh, and then you want to go, Black Widow and Hawkeye, white. Like, you know.
Companies can do whatever they want, the fuck they want. Top tier capitalism, true. Push for more big movies with non-white people. Don't swap them. Yeah, I'm like halfway on these. I honestly don't care my personal life. If I,
I'm still trying to understand like why is swapping a race so bad to you that you're like, oh, I don't want to watch this movie anymore because they swapped a race.
Yeah, that actually is my genuine question. Like people who like
that
is
do. Because you look, if it
hold
doesn't
on,
affect the story
okay,
or the movie quality in any way, what really is bothering you?
Chill. What like genuinely like if you have like is there like completely different experience to you like watching like someone who's like not white play a character that you see as traditionally white, like Ariel like in the new Little Mermaid movie, just because it's like they're casting a black woman to like play Ariel, like is it really going to change the story all that much? Like does it really matter as long as they play the character well? If the logic is money, then it absolutely matters when either loses out. If the logic is roles at all, it doesn't matter either way. Yeah, if the money is logic, I agree with that, then it matters when either loses out. Yeah, because it sucks because people feel that as like an individual loss rather than like a class loss, right? Like you don't feel like your class, like your white class or your brown class when you're like going for shit like that. If the logic is roles at all, it doesn't matter either. I would disagree with that part because if the logic is roles at all, right? If you have like, again, I feel like that example was pretty good, was like if you go out for a casting and there's 100 white roles on the market and 10 black roles that are kind of being casted for, and you apply for like, you know, one of the 10 black roles and you get it, well now there's like 9 other black roles and they're probably not going to get cast in the white roles. Like you gotta understand, like I don't know if any of you like see this, but like there's definitely like a bias in like how many roles that are possible. But roles at all has like quite a few more than just 100. No, but I'm saying like the ratio in Hollywood is probably, I'm not saying it's like it's 100 to 10, but what I'm saying is like it's like those numbers in Hollywood when you apply for roles. Like you're just going to have less opportunities if you're a person of color because less people, like there's, if you watch most shows, they're like, you know, you have like 5 white people and then like the 1 black person and maybe a 1 Asian person, right? So you have like, if you're one of the 5 white people applying, you have a 1 in 5 chance. If you're the black person applying, you have a 1 in 1, like, you know, whatever, how many other people are.
That's where the whole token black person, token this comes from. It's just they threw 1 person into the mix just to have that like little bit.
Well, not even that, but what I'm saying is like even at that, like even whatever, like, but what we're saying is like there's less opportunities for people of color within these industries because they're just not being casted as much. Because there's less roles for people like that on screen, right?
Yeah.
Most shows you watch, you'll see there's like my biggest problem is that swapping them is 100% to fulfill the diversity quota. I want more actual real representation. Is
it to fulfill it, or is it that they had a casting call and someone who was just not white got the job because they were good?
Yeah, like what's the difference to you? Like whether it's like they want to fulfill a quota because they wanted like more diversity in their cast versus like they just like hired like a diverse cast. Like what is like?
Because with your logic, you're saying that never happens. That there was never a person of color who was good enough for the job.
There's like literally no difference in outcome whichever way it was done. And second of all, it's like even if they're fulfilling a diversity quota, if the final project comes out good, why does it matter?
Like the Batman.
Yeah, like they
Right.
raised up Jim Gordon, and apparently people loved it.
Yeah, and it was fucking phenomenal. Sometimes, but not like, but you're saying it every time they're like, oh, we need a person of color. Like, all we're saying is it should be where whoever is the best for the role should get the role, rather they're white or not. But a lot of times, right? And when we're talking about the grand scheme of things, for decades it was like we need a white person at the front of this, because that's what's gonna sell,
Yeah.
right? So when you had like decades of that, you have to take that into consideration when you're talking about race swapping and this and that and that. It's like you guys had so many opportunities for so long, and you had your time, and now we're just asking for some sort of diversity, and now people are all up in arms and all are mad. Oh, they have a black person in Star Wars, or this person is black, or this person is Asian, or this it doesn't make like it's, and then you want to quote unquote label it woke, like just me being not white is woke. My existence is woke. My existence is not woke. And to be like, oh, they put a person of color into this film is woke now, that's fucked.
Yeah, I don't even care about that. I just want to know how you're like actually like deciding like which ones are like forced diversity and which ones aren't. The problem is that they're just swapping the race. They're not swapping the characters. They're still white
But why
characters.
is that?
What like
why
which
is that a
characters are you
problem?
who are you talking about right now? Like which characters? Where are you seeing this forced diversity so much that it's like actually becoming a problem, or that you're seeing
Okay,
issues with
Lord of the
it?
Rings, Lord of the Rings, right? They have like fucking black people in Lord of the Rings now. There's the show coming up. Is there a problem with that?
People lost their minds at like the black character
Yeah.
like being shown in like the or the possibility of a black character in like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And before we start, Lord of the Rings is like my most beloved series, the like biggest
Yeah.
thing in my life. So like if I don't care, I don't know why anyone else would fucking care. Like really, we're like distincting on like a skin color. Like, is this really like that big of an issue if we like change like based on skin color? Like I don't know if it like bothers me like in my
Yeah.
personal like.
And all I'm saying is that if someone does feel like such a strong
Wait,
way
black dwarves
of like,
and elves? Yeah, that's weird as fuck. Why? Why? Wait, I don't understand. The new show,
Okay.
the new show.
where were they? Where were they? Lord of the Rings was filmed at a time where like we weren't giving people of color rules like that,
I don't even
and
care
now we
about that.
are.
It's like
Now we
it's a
are. That's
fantasy
why.
world. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's fake. You can put whoever the fuck you want.
And now we are. That's why it's the difference.
Did Tolkien ever specify that it had to be like white people throughout the whole story? I don't know if he ever like said in any of his notes like they all have to be white. There can be no black elves. Like I would like to see where he wrote that.
there is not that he says, oh, they can't be black elves, but he does. I think there is a lot of notes and stuff that specify these are white people.
I mean,
Right.
that's maybe how he like wrote the characters. But if there's like a black elf, someone
But if you want that, I have great news for you. Those books that you love have 3 great adaptations. They have 3 great movies. Go watch those. Then this series is not for you, and you don't need to watch it.
yeah, I don't know. I just like for me, it's like you see like people lost their mind over like the idea of like there being like a black elf, and I'm like, really, is like this the thing we care about? Like, does anyone really give a shit if there's like a black elf on screen? Like, does it really like mess up your life so much?
Because I guarantee you, most people who are like, oh, Token didn't want this, they don't really give a fuck that Token didn't want this.
To be fair, that's like
There's
it's
so
also,
much
hold
shit
on. I would also
changes.
like to point out like to people like being like, oh, it disrespects like their work or whatever. That's like conservatives like talking about George Carlin work and like using his like comedy as being like, oh, look at George Carlin, and it's like, dude, he would have fucking hated you, okay?
Yeah.
Like
You know what?
But,
You
like, no
know
one's
what
gonna-
also is? You know what also is a Token also wrote in his books is that fucking The Lord of the Rings, the story, long as shit. But to make it into a movie, they changed the times of how long it took them to get here or there and there or there. It's not a 1-to-1.
Yeah,
But when
like,
it comes
things
to race,
change.
now you want a 1-to-1.
To be fair, The Hobbit was a terrible
Yeah.
adaptation. The Hobbit was an awful adaptation from the book.
The flaw with your argument is that you were like, oh, Tolkien didn't want this. It should be a 1-to-1. No adaptation from a book to a movie is ever a 1-to-1. They change
true.
so much shit. But as soon as it's race, then you have a fucking problem. You know
That's
why?
actually a good
Because you're
point.
kind of racist.
Did I ever say I had no problems with? But that's what we're saying is like people like people are like, oh, like it's not like what's in the books, but it's like the movies always get changed from the books. So if like you have one thing where it's like a race swapped elf, does it really like, is it really fundamentally changing the story so much, like in a fantasy book in a fantasy world that doesn't exist, that you're just going to like enjoy as entertainment? Like, does it change your life so much that there's a black person on screen? It feels like, I don't know, it feels like a weird thing to like get that heated. I'll lose my mind in a different way over the black elf. I like that comment.
That's what I'm saying.
Damn, Will. Sheesh. There's gonna be whole subreddits just for that lady. Where's the dwarven?
There already are for sure.
Where's the dwarven's lady beard? Is she supposed to have a beard? Are female dwarves supposed to have beards? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway.
Also, to be clear, I don't have nothing. It's the only your just arguments are fuck to me.
I mean, if she's supposed to,
You're probably
that's
a
like,
decent dude, but like it's just they don't make sense to me.
they look like, oh yeah. I feel like I remember this somewhere. It's been a long time since I've like read the books. I watched the movies like last year, but I watch them every year on my birthday, so. But again, it feels like it's like, yeah, you two are never gonna get along. I'm trying to be a middleman here and try to chill it out, but to me, it's just like such a weird thing to like get like hyper like emotional over. I don't know. I feel like people like online especially like get super emotionally attached to like having white characters in like certain roles, and it's like, dude, like, does it really matter if like the skin color is just darker than what you would have seen like otherwise? Like, it feels like such a super weird thing to me. I'm a brown person from a different continent. I mean, yeah, that's fine. We're a brown person from like, we're also brown. Oh my god, thank you so much for the subscribe. I appreciate that so much. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're awesome, Emerson. Emzeron. I always say Emerson because I read it wrong, but it's Emzeron.
Damn, you made his name sound way more nerdy.
Emzeron. I'm sorry. I appreciate the subscribe, bro.
Call him Emerson.
Shut up, bro. Fuck off. I'm dyslexic.
Sound like he's a financial advisor or some shit.
Leave me alone. I'm fucking dyslexic, okay? I'm not, but everyone's pretty sure I am because I can't read shit for anything, and I also don't know my lefts and rights at all. So, you know, it'd be like that. Emerson is in fact an elect. I know because my calculator's from them, I think. Anyway, there are things that matter to us more than they would.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to my point of like race swapping to like a white person. I will say is not that they swapping to a white person that is necessarily like if they just wanted to cast a character and then there's a white person who was like just fit for it. The best possible outcome is to go with this person. Cool. A lot of times though, like in the Scarlett Johansson situation is Scarlett Johansson, a big white name, they're putting her in there. That's when it gets fucked up. That okay, we're gonna sell white to people.
Well, yeah, you also just want your movie to sell, right?
Like
she was a big name, so like if you want your movie to sell, you're gonna hire big names, which is like fine and understandable. But I think the thing is like people didn't really care when like POC characters were getting like switched out for white characters, and then when a white character got switched out for POC people lost their minds, and then we pointed out that was like a double standard because this has been happening to like people of color for years. And then like people were like, oh well, then like if you don't like it to you, then why do you get to do it to white people? And it's like, well, you've been doing it to people of color for years, so like why not do it the other way? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
To be fair, in a vacuum, I wouldn't care if people were race swapped, and I don't think Rams would either. If we lived in a vacuum, it's like, hold up, let me finish. If we lived in a vacuum without any like political underlines, if we didn't have like anything else, like a society, right? You know, the society we live in, there's things like no one would give a fuck. But the problem is like we already live in a society that like probably disproportionately affects like people being able to get jobs in this industry. So when you switch a white or a person of color as a character to a white character, you're already like you're further marginalizing a group that already has like little ability to get jobs in this area. Whereas like if you switch like a white character to a brown character,
time and where you're at.
Yeah, I like don't care either way. But the thing is like when you already have like a systemically disproportionate or not, if you have a disproportionate number of jobs already like this group already like has like less job opportunities in this certain industry, then like switching it the other way seems like kind of shitty because it's like, well, you're already like disadvantaging this group and now you're just further pushing that, right?
Yeah.
But like if we got to a point that like people had like the proper like opportunities that they needed like within like these these things that were like proportionate to their group within America, then like it would be a different thing, and I don't think anyone would care if like the race swaps happened either way, because like at that point you're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
everyone's kind
there
of
is a
equal.
history to this that makes it that you have to consider when you're talking about race swapping and all of this.
Yeah,
Right?
I think you could like talk about like the actual like real world context versus like let's see. Yeah, it's stupid. They shouldn't. To be specific about Ghost in the Shell, the robot model is a Caucasian one. I mean, I guess that's fine, but again, it's just like it's one of those things that we're talking about, like the broader societal context of like these movies that these movies are being made in. I think it's fine if you cast a character as a neutral on race, but I think it's definitely stupid if this specifically look for a race swapped character. Yeah, I mean, but again, you would never be able to determine that, right? Like, you would never be able to say, like, oh, they, like, specifically did this, or they just, like, they either just casted, like, race neutral, like, they didn't care, they just casted anybody, versus, like, oh, would they specifically race swapped? I don't think you could ever determine that. You would never be able to know that.
I know. With okay, I mean, you just take words and stuff, but like, Matt Reeves, director of the Batman. And I keep bringing the Batman up because like it's the most like recent thing that I can think of. But like with the Jim Gordon situation, he was like, yeah, it was just he was fit for the role, so I picked him, right? And in that, like, I don't see anything wrong with the because the Jim Gordon character isn't based on being white.
Yeah,
So
there's, like
it doesn't really change anything. And when we watch the movie, him being black didn't change anything.
in the real world, how many judges are black in North America? I mean, like, disproportionately less than, like, there exists in, like, their communities, like, their sizable communities in the States, but, like, these
Why
are
does that
wholly
matter?
different, or these are wholly
Why does
different
that
arguments when
matter?
you're talking about something that takes, like, 7 years of schooling versus Hollywood, which is something that, like, your casting should probably reflect your society when it comes to like movies. Like if you're making a movie in New York and your entire cast is white, it seems a little stupid because New York's pretty fucking diverse, right? Like these are completely different issues if you want to talk about these two things. We could talk about the systemic injustices within academia and like, you know, how these things need to be fixed. I'm in criminology, okay? I'm looking at fixing a lot of these issues, but like how
The
many
only
judges are
black
black
judge in the
movies?
TV or movie I can think of is like Uncle Phil.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of is Uncle Phil. I think I saw one other show maybe where there's like been a black judge, but I don't remember what show it was. I remember just seeing it when I was passing by when like my mom was watching something.
And I guess maybe like one of those like judge like in the court how
Or
courtroom
like
kind
I'll
of
see it in like
shows.
sitcoms
Those
sometimes.
aren't
Like
real
you'll see.
judges.
Yeah, but the one
Yeah.
real judges, yeah.
But like
that's the only-
sitcoms, maybe sitcoms sometimes will have it like where you have like a black judge, but I don't know. Let's see. Companies are still feeling the impact of affirmative action. If they don't have the diverse Spark staff, it's because there was no qualified POC to fill that position. That could be like half true and half not true, but that's a whole other stream that we'd have to like talk about like this, because I don't necessarily like affirmative action, and we could talk a lot about like the issues with affirmative actions and like why these like I don't know. I don't like affirmative action.
Realistic representation of a country doesn't look fair. America is 72% white. It is, but like you gotta look at where in America certain movies and shows are taking place. If they're taking place in New York, you're gonna find a lot more people of color in
No
New
one's
York.
asking for like a Kansas,
Then-
like a show in Kansas to be like a bunch of black people.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, there might be
Yeah.
more black people. But you know what we're
No,
saying? Like, if you're in a
like,
white
like-
town in Tennessee or something, no one's asking for like a shit ton of black people in that show because like
Like,
it's middle fucking butt fuck Tennessee.
Netflix has a show the Ranch with Ashton Kutcher and everything, and that's like a very white cast. Makes sense. It does really make sense for where they're at and how what they're doing and everything.
I'm not a consequentialist or utilitarian. I think intent matters. I think intent can matter, but like it also means that you'd have to know intent if we're talking about like the intent of like a director to like specifically pick certain casting, if that's what you're still referring to. But I don't know. I like the Batman movie, to be honest, not because of the cast. For sure, the cast did a good job. The movie writing was, but ooh, Rams is gonna hate you for that one. You guys are already at each other's necks.
What do you say? What do you
You
say?
didn't like Batman.
Of course he didn't.
Shut up, Rams. Don't start.
All I said was, of course he didn't.
In the way.
My God, almost every part of that is a judge is going to be black. Wait. Wait, what? My God, almost every part that is a judge is going to be black. Wait, what? Every bit part? I'm confused. Wait, retype that. I have no idea what you're saying.
He's saying that most like judges that you see in TV and movie are black.
Are they?
I don't know the fact, or if it is, it's not something I've ever noticed. It might be true.
A lot of them.
The only one I could like
I mean,
really think of is like Uncle Phil, but like if you're talking about like side characters in like a TV show, like a sitcom, I think I've seen that. Like I said, sitcoms, I think I see it more often. But like, it's interesting because honestly, before my friends became lawyers, I assumed that judges were like more than 50% black. Really? 100% don't give us fully white cast in New York or LA. Yeah, I think that's like mostly what people are asking for because like I think a lot of times we see like these movies like in big cities and stuff, and like you have like a 90% white cast, and it's like that's probably unrealistic. Like most like big cities are pretty diverse, but like if you're making a like we said, if you're making a TV show in the middle of like buttfuck Tennessee, like you're not gonna expect like a shit ton of Asian people because it's just not realistic. Should the writing and acting be the only thing that matters? I hate when a movie rep is solely due to POC or sex, but good or bad, like the Crazy Rich Asians or Ghostbusters. Wait, Crazy Rich Asians I thought people loved.
Okay, Crazy Rich Asians, people love because it is an Asian cast.
Oh, okay.
But the movie itself isn't that great.
Okay.
People overhype it.
Ghostbusters was trash, but like Crazy Rich Asians was supposed to be about.
I will say that is a thing of like movies that have like a certain race as a prominent thing besides white is like people will overhype shit like that. Like,
but also
objectively,
hold on.
Black Panther, not one of the best MCU movies. It's alright, but like people
I love Black Panther.
love it.
I'll argue on that, but
if you just love it, like great. But like,
I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed
there is
it.
a big portion of people who feel like they have to love it because it is a black cast.
No, I just loved the movie. I really fucking enjoyed it.
Crazy Rich Asians, I will say, almost for
I
a
never ended
fact,
up watching
people
Crazy
love it
Rich
'cause it's an
Asians,
Asian
so.
cast.
But like Crazy Rich Asians, like to act like it's just POC due to like necessity. It's like, well, it's called Crazy Rich Asians. It was supposed to be about Asian like crazy rich Asian families. Like that was like the point of the plot, right? It'd be stupid. It'd be stupid to cast white people in a movie like that, right? What
one of my big things isn't just like put people of color on screen, but like people of color need to be in the background too. If you have people of color writing movies, directing movies, you will see that happening. That's like a bigger push that should happen.
I think that
it's
also
just Asian is people like an Asian writer writing about Asian
I
people.
will also
I think
say
one of the writers
that,
was white,
hold on.
but the main writer was Asian.
I will say also that also has to be a cultural shift on our part though, because like how many Asian parents are like actually like wanting their kids to go into like fucking movie directing? Like
that's why, like,
no
every
one
time I meet,
fucking
like,
parents is supporting that. Okay, we have Asian parents who know that.
I hear like like an Asian dude or a South Asian dude being like, yeah, I want to be an actor. Like, okay, what about a writer or a director? Like all these other roles that you could also fill.
Yeah, they either want to be actors or like their parents are like, you're gonna be a doctor and that's final, right?
Yeah.
Like there's like the whole
Everybody
thing.
wants
Like,
to
you're not gonna get a
neutrally
lot of support in your
actor.
family for that, like necessarily. So like that also has to come from like a change in culture. So like I don't think that's necessarily just like a. I mean, there's of course that's like an inequality of like access issue, but that's also like a cultural thing, right? Like there's just probably less people that are Asian going into like jobs like that. Yeah. Probably like, recently.
I do agree with the whole like a race, just because a movie is of a race or represents that, it can blow up for being mediocre. I will agree with that, right? But I also don't think that's the worst thing. I think it's annoying because when people talk about Crazy Asian when it first came out, it was fucking annoying, right? But like it was cool to see just a bunch of Asian people in a big marketed movie, right?
Yeah, Black Panther was okay-ish, but not bad, but not amazing. I agree. It wasn't like an incredibly.
Like, it did good.
It wasn't like this deep, incredible movie, but I just like really enjoyed Black Panther. It was just like a really fun. I like super.
Oh no, it's not a bad movie by any chance, but it's just like
When
it's not the amazing movie.
Just be entertaining. If people try too hard to fill it with political message, a compromise needs to be made, and it's continuing consistency. I think people are just too stupid to see like that. Most things have like a really political undertone. Like most people don't know Star Wars is super fucking political. Star Wars is super political, and everyone's like, oh, why are they making Star Wars political? I don't know if you ever watched the original Star Wars, but the whole thing was super fucking political. Like that was like the point of Star Wars.
Yeah, it's about governments taking over governments and collapsing, and then another government coming in, and then collapsing, and then another government coming. Like the whole thing.
Yeah, but like I think like people are just too stupid to like. And then when it's like, but now like the problem is like political messaging in shows. It has to be so overdone because people are too stupid to get it. Like you have like a movie like Don't Look Up, which was fucking garbage, and like people were like, "Oh, this is amazing," because like you guys are all too like everyone these days is too stupid to like not understand that like okay like literally if anything's more subtle than this you just don't get it. So we have to make a movie that's like this in your face about like messaging that like now you get it and you're like this is amazing. It's a garbage movie. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah. And it goes for the MCU too. Like Cause I know even like not even
They're
like in
mostly
MCU, but like
garbage
in
movies.
comics books and stuff, people are like, oh, comics are being so political. It's always been political.
Yeah.
Fucking first issue of Captain America is them pushing out fucking Hitler. Like,
Kung Fu movies from the 70s and 80s are very political. My only problem with the new movies is them being bad. Yes, okay, we're not talking about the new Star Wars movies, okay? Disregard those. I don't talk about those. Other than Rogue One was really, really, really good. And Solo, I'll give a pass because I actually enjoyed Solo. And Solo, other than the first like 10, 20 minutes of the movie, was actually decent. But the new Star Wars movies, like the new trilogy, was just garbage. God awful, terrible.
people who worked on it will also say that. J.J.
Oh, yeah.
Abrams himself would be like, yeah, I had no plan for it.
Yeah, the new Star Wars movies are just horrible. Nothing to do
Which,
with the cast. They're just
dude,
fucking bad. They are. Rogue One,
If
yeah,
you want
Rogue
to, if you
One.
want to get off of race and shit off for 1 second, I think J.J. Abrams should just leave everything alone. Because I think he's attached to some more shit that's coming out, and it's just like, how'd you fumble that so badly?
Oof.
That now people are trusting you to do other shit. It's, I don't know.
Damn, we
That's
got
just-
really far into this. I feel like I had other topics for tonight. Oh yeah, the Jagmeet Singh and getting run out of Brampton. That was like my other big one I wanted to talk
I
about.
don't even know what the fuck that is.
But basically Jagmeet Singh, because I usually, okay guys, this is like, I love how like my night that I did like the super like fun, like, I mean this is kind of a political stream, but like I usually do like legal coverage, so anyone who's new here, I usually do like a lot of like bills that are passing in the States and Canada. I cover like legal stuff, because that's like the stuff that I'm really enjoying, and like political like news stories. So like, don't expect this all the time from me. I'm sorry. I guess like a lot of my stuff is political like this. I have debates with my viewers a lot. But yeah, the Jagmeet Singh, who's just such an absolute trash piece. Like, I hate that man. What a garbage politician. He basically went back to Brampton, which is a highly, like, obviously he's Sikh, and he got ran out of, oh, what was it? Somewhere in Toronto, he got ran out of, like, the city, and, like, the whole news story was basically, like, oh, white supremacists are going after Jagmeet Singh, and, like, you know, they hate him because he's a brown man, and he felt, like, in danger for his life. And so there's, like, this whole thing about, like, people who, like, hate Jagmeet Singh are just a bunch of white supremacists. Well, he went back to Brampton, which is, like, a completely brown, like, Indian town, and he got fucking ran out of there, too, because, like, Indian people hate him. Sikhs fucking hate him, because he's such a scumbag. And so then, like, everyone's like, I wonder if the news is gonna, like, pick up this story and try to, like, frame these, like, Sikh boys as, like, white supremacists. It was just some shit, because, like, Jagmeet Singh, like, he's one of those guys who ran on this, like, really, like, kind of did the same thing Trudeau did, where he's like, I'm for the people, like, I care about you guys, all this type of stuff, and he's just been such a dumb fuck since then. I'm out of water. I'm sorry.
Is Michelle snoring?
The one little drop. Yeah, I think she is. She's talking in her sleep. I forgot she was still on the call. But yeah, as a fellow Canadian. Oh my god, you're a fellow Canadian! Oh my god, that's so awesome. I love finding my Canadian viewers. I wish we had better options than what we do. That's the thing, is like, everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. And you're not.
I don't know if. Hold up. Actually, I need to research something real quick first before I even speak.
But Jagmeet Singh was like one of those people who like ran as such like he's a people's person. He's like, I care about you, and I'm this young guy. Look at me, I do TikTok. And then like he's just literally like a shill for Trudeau, who's such a scumbag. He doesn't care about people. He blamed inflation on corporate greed instead of like political decisions made by our governments. Like, oh god. This man, he's so stupid. He has no idea what he's talking about half the time. Like, the fucking political ads he puts out, the stuff he does and it says in interviews, I'm like, dude, you're just stupid. You're like, you're politically incompetent. And, like, again, brown people, like, super voted for him because they were like, oh, brown guy in politics in the first round. And, like, everyone I know, like was brown other than, like, a few people did not vote for him. Because, like, they're like, fuck this dude. Like, he doesn't care about it. He doesn't even care about you. And so he got ran out of Brampton by a bunch of, like, Sikh boys being like, you betrayed us. Like, you know, you backstabbed, like, the brown community. You don't care about anyone. Like, he got ran out of there, too. He's been ran out of 2 cities in the last 2 weeks, okay?
Between Trudeau and him, I feel like brown people are just going to stop voting after a while.
No, everyone's...
keep hearing.
So many people I know, like, even my age, are switching to just voting conservative because you just need something else.
Yeah.
Because you either, like...
Because Trudeau was the same thing. I mean, he's not a brown person, but, like, brown people voted for him because, like, his dad and shit, so we're just like, oh, yeah. And then, you know...
But it was...
Pictures came out, and then he said some shit, and then it's just like, oh, no, he's really not for any of us.
It was, like, one of those things where, like, they had every opportunity to do better, but, like, everyone I talk to these days, it's like, no one wants to have another liberal or NDP government. So it's like, what are your options? You either like don't vote and let them get back into power, or you start voting conservative. And like, so a lot of people I know, and like, even they don't have conservative politics. And to be fair, Canadian, pardon?
What'd you say, Will?
The Conservative Party's a whole other mess. They haven't been able to get their shit together for years.
That's true, but at the same time,
Green
it's
Party.
like if people want, yeah, the Green Party is like garbage too, though. They're gonna destroy your economic system. When our main export is lumber, you do not want the Green Party in, okay? I'm telling you.
Give them a
right now.
chance.
No, fuck no, absolutely not.
I think I know some people who actually did vote for Green Party.
Economically illiterate group. Okay, you want Canada to die? Vote in Green Party. Sorry.
That's horrid.
Our main exports are oil and fucking lumber. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a shit ton of mining. Like, those are our three big industries. And, like, you want to vote in Green Party who's going to be like, you can't do any of that? Fuck no. Fuck out of here. Absolutely not. Thanks for giving me Green. Fuck you, man.
I'm with you on that. Let's do it.
Fuck you, Rams.
Yeah. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, you want to go starve in, like, 10 years because we have no income into our country?
I mean, I think we're already going there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the economic system of the world right now. But, yeah, vote block. That's the move. We're all going to become Quebec. Quebec will absorb the rest of Canada. And then we actually will fall into, like,
I
desolation.
feel like that's the only possibility of slavery ever coming back. Because Quebec hates everybody.
Quebec
Can you
is...
even vote for the bloc if you're not in Quebec?
Oh, that's true.
Like, they wouldn't have any ridings out here.
That's a good point. I guess we can anyway. Doesn't matter.
Or move to Quebec, then you can, I guess. But it won't matter because it'll be the same number of seats.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's just like... There's nothing. White supremacists is hard to find, and they do react violent to people of color being near them. White segregationists don't hate people of color. They just don't want to live near any. I mean, you could argue that that's pretty... I don't know if you're saying that's not racist. Wait, the guy who went to the most racist town in the U.S., he met with segregationists. Yeah, but I would still say segregationist is still racism. White supremacy is a totally different thing than white segregation. But I would also say, like, they're both racist, right? Like,
That's like saying you're either dealing with, like, fucking a Sith or the little Padawan. It's like they're both on the, dark side. They're both pretty bad.
but, like, yeah, like, there's one that's, like, way easier to devoid. But, like, it's probably better to, like, counteract these ideas rather than just be like, oh, they're... but I'd be much more scared of, like, a white supremacist being near me than, like, a white segregationist. I don't think I really care, right? I mean, go ahead, have your little white town. I think segregationism can be not racist, but still absurdly stupid, and it's almost always racist. It's just, how could you be segregationist without it being racist, though? Like, maybe if you just think that, like, the races do better on their own, like, maybe if that's your only idea is, like, all the data points to, like, this, and so it's, like, it's not that I don't want to live with them, I just think we'll all do better if we're not, but that still sounds super racist to me. I don't know how you would make that argument, but I see where you're coming from, but yeah.
It's just different levels of racism.
Yeah, I say they don't hate, you can not hate someone and still be racist.
If you want to talk fast,
Yeah. Oh, I would agree with that.
every group of people are a little racist. We're brown. We're South Asian. There are South Asian people who are a little racist.
Anyone who's like above our like parents' age, like if you go past like
Yeah.
the generation above us, super racist. Oh God.
So it's like the thing of like, oh, stop racism. It's like it's not realistic. What
Yeah.
you have to just do is just to like have better laws and stuff that don't let that shit,
Yeah.
block them to these horrible tragedies
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I say they don't hate. They can. Oh, I understand what you're saying now. I say they don't hate. You can not hate someone and still be racist. Yeah, for sure. Because like a race person doesn't necessarily hate every other race. It's just that they're like, they like don't think that like races should mix, or like there can be other reasons to be racist that aren't just based on hate. But most of the time, racism and like some level of like dislike or hate probably come together, right? Like there is some flavor of like dislike, I would say. Or like, yeah, just not wanting to associate, like a segregationist might not hate black people, but they just don't want to be near them, right? Like, it's a really weird distinction to draw, but like, when like definitionally, I can understand where you're coming from. It's just it's like a distinction without a difference, right? Humans are super fucking tribal, and the conflict that comes from racial diversity creates bad situations. Yeah, no, exactly. People will say shit like that, and it's stupid. But like,
There's like again to back up my point. It's not saying that we're always gonna be fucking. There's always gonna be like super racist. Everything. I just don't feel like we will ever get to 100% no racism, right? You can get to a much better place from where we are right now.
yeah.
But,
Also, yeah, the extreme extent of racism is frightening, traumatizing to be even be around. You gotta understand, like, my parents grew, like, my mom and dad both grew up in Canada. My mom's family's been here since 1902. So trust me, I've heard, I don't think I've ever been through extreme racism. I've been, like, in racist encounters, but, like, nothing that I really care, like, nothing that's ever, like, traumatized me. Whereas my mom grew up in a generation that was, like, she was, like, traumatized by the racism she experienced. Like, people throwing, like, major like rocks through their window, people throwing like those Molotov bombs into their house and stuff like that. They fucking got my mom's dog killed. It was like my mom went through a lot of shit when she was growing up because like the time that they grew up here, right? So I like know the stories, but like so my mom had a lot of racist encounters growing up, but like even my dad did, but my dad doesn't talk about them as much because my dad doesn't talk about that stuff as much. Whereas like, he's told me stuff that like I'm like, oh, I can infer from that you've been in some like crazy shit. People don't usually like people outside of their groups. Hold on. I will disagree with this. I think it depends on where you grow up and who you grow up around. If you
grow up with just your group, then I can see that.
Yeah, because I think people are like, you are socialized so much in like the first 10 years of your life. If you grow up around a really diverse group of people, like if you go into, like, I grew up in a school where there was like every race and every person and you just don't think about it. But if you grow up in a majority white town and don't meet your first black person until you're like 20 years old, you probably have like an in-group, out-group feeling just because it's natural for humans. Like if you've never seen a person that looks like that, or like, right?
Like
you've never
dude in this call who's like on his deathbed. Will he grew up with us in a city that is prominently just South Asians and stuff, right? So for him to be like turn out, super racist is like, was unlikely. Which there are people who are like racist.
It's like it's hard
but
to like, if you grow up in a really like, I think like again like you can like people like. Get like sometimes you just get lucky with like where you're growing up. Like if you grow up in a really diverse place, you're gonna have a really good experience with like different groups and you're never gonna think about it. But again, like a white person growing up in the deep south, if they like feel uncomfortable the first time they meet a black person, I don't know if I necessarily like fault them for that because I think that's kind of human to like see like a group person that looks like vastly different from you that you've never interacted with before and feel a little bit like off put because like that's human tribalistic nature and it's not great, but like as long as you can get past that, I think it's good. We still sometimes discriminate on fucking eye and hair color. I don't think we'll ever get it perfect. I probably agree with that. People will always find something to discriminate on, right? Like before, like there was a lot of like black people interacting with like Europeans. Fucking Irish and Italians weren't considered white. Like that was a whole thing, right? Because like you'll always find something to discriminate on.
And not even just like an American thing. You go to anywhere, any part of the world, you'll see stuff. That is more than just like the black and white racism.
This generation would shit itself to be witnessed or exposed to racism in the extreme. Yeah, to an extent, but like I think there's definitely enough people that still like even in our generation that have experienced some like crazy fucking racism. And probably
there are people
not extreme
who at times will downplay the how much of an effort has been made and how far we have come from.
Yeah, I think like people like sometimes like are like, oh, racism is still so bad. It's like no, like you go back 20 years
it's
of
bad.
racism and stuff. Like 2000 was even more racist than it was now. Okay, like to act like it's still as racist as it used to be is like such a stupid sentiment to me, and I fucking hate people on the left and online for this. Okay, I'm a lefty. For anyone who also, thank you for hanging out, you a hobby. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. I have a Discord down below if you want to join that. You can reach me there if you ever want to suggest topics or come on and talk to me. You can join my Discord. It's a good place to also get updates if I'm going live or like topics that I might be talking about. So if you're interested, you can always see it there before I go live. But thanks for hanging out. I'm probably gonna like stop streaming in like 10 minutes here, but it's like one of those things where it's like I'm a leftist who hates every other fucking lefty on the internet because they're all fucking useless, stupid. Sorry, I get aggressive about these things, but you'll hear me talk about this a lot. Like I have very like decently left, like center left politics, but like I find like lefties online who are just brain dead. So if you're interested in seeing me hate on other left people, I mean, stick around, I guess. We'll never get it perfect. That's a given, but let's strive for better. Groups is not only about race. I would completely agree with both those statements. I got lucky with my environment. I live in a small town, but still somewhat diverse experience. And yeah, exactly. Like that's one of those things where it's like, if you're lucky enough to grow up around a diverse experience, you're probably going to have less problems like with being racist because you're just around so many different peoples. Whereas if you grow up in the deep south, you might not be exposed to different types of people. Like, as long as you can like, you don't use that as an excuse to be racist, I think that's like the difference. Is like when you do come into contact with other people, or when you have like beliefs about other people, then I think being able to challenge your own beliefs is probably a good thing to do. I remember what movies series was like 20 years ago. It was, yeah. Sometimes, oh my god, I watched, fuck, what was it? Far left and far right are both brain dead for different reasons, but same result. Absolutely. Fucking horseshoe theory. My ass up. Okay. That was a weird statement. I'm sorry. But yeah, like, it's like, political extremism never leads to good ends. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Like, if you're far left or far right and you're like advocating for political extremism, you're probably pretty fucking stupid. Because there's like no nuance there's no nuance in conversations like that. I'm 43. There's some reverse coding that happens even at my age. When the anti-white sentiment started, I was like, okay, I won't be part of your movement. Oh, yeah. See, I don't like that though, because like for me, it's like my politics are based on like what I believe and what my principles are. And like even if there's dumb people on the left, I'm not gonna change my positions because there's stupid people around me. I'm gonna say like you're stupid and like call that shit out. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just dislike when like people like, I think it's not good to like change your opinions based on like what the crowd like makes you believe. I think it's always good to stick to your principles and like your ideas, even if like people around you say stupid shit, but it's like good to call it the stupid shit because I hate the anti-white sentiment. Okay, I have family that's like, you know, a good chunk of my family is white because like my family is very mixed, and so like the anti-white sentiment I see online, I fucking hate that shit. I absolutely hate it because it's garbage. It's stupid. You're just giving more into race politics, and it's garbage to like do that shit, whether it's to like people of color or to white people. Don't do it. Don't be fucking racist. I personally don't like grouping myself in with anyone because will always be false assumptions about me. Yeah. Labeling is, I mean, I'm, okay, I will like say this on stream, I'm bisexual, but I don't consider myself part of the LGBT community because I hate the assumptions that come with like having to defend like things in the LGBT community because they're fucking crazy. They're all crazy. You know what I mean? It's one of those, oh my god, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, anyway, but I really enjoyed the chats tonight, but it is 1:30 in the morning for me, and I have dance practice tomorrow, so I should probably wrap up stream, but I will probably stream again tomorrow night, so I'll be back talking about other stuff, and if you want to give me ideas in my Discord, you can join my Discord and send me ideas if there's things you want me to talk about on stream. Oh my god, thank you. Oh my god, thank you for the, oh my god. Holy shit, thank you for all the gifted subs. Oh my god, you're so cool. That's so awesome. I super appreciate that. I saw I could get that #1 spot. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I super appreciate that. Holy shit. But yeah, I will definitely be back on tomorrow. And yeah, I'm Pan. I hate the community, or to be more precise, the super loud minority. That's so fucking weird. Oh yeah, I could talk about that all day. If you come back, I will probably talk about that again. Like, I talk about that on my channel all the time, how much I hate, like, that community and how toxic it is. But, yeah, I think that's something for another day. I think I'm going to wrap up stream because it's getting late. But I will try to be back to streaming tomorrow, and I'm going to try to start streaming more consistently again because I took, like, a 2-week break because I was lazy. But if you want to watch any of my old content, you can always go to my YouTube channel. That's also linked to someone down there. You can watch, like, old streams, but you'd have to go through a bunch of stuff to try to find, like, anything good. Because I just upload full streams over there just to have them all saved. But yeah, anyway. But the biggest thing is join the Discord so you can talk to me, you can talk to other people in my community, and you can also suggest ideas for stream if there's things you want me to cover. If you want me to cover like different political stories or bills passing is my big one. I love legal stuff. So if there's like any bills you want me to talk about that are really interesting, you can always send me those too. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to bed. I hope you guys all have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.